CUTV begins its 22nd year of high school football coverage at Redstone Field, where the South Allegheny Gladiators have traveled to take on the Brownsville Falcons. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Andy Walter. Joining me for this matchup is Alex Kunkel. And Alex, you take a look at the Interstate Conference AA here in the WPIAL. You look at these two teams, Brownsville kind of towards the bottom, South Allegheny, middle of the road team. Last year, really, it came down to GCC and Jeanette. Yeah, GCC and Jeanette really proved that they were the top tiers in this class, and South Allegheny put up a good fight. They finished with 5-5 overall. Brownsville a little bit down under at 1-8. But South Allegheny under Pat Monroe has really improved, and they really look to get a winning record and maybe look into the playoffs this year. Yeah, and you take a look kind of at the predicted order of finishes that we're looking at this season. Once again, GCC on top, followed by Jeanette. Then you have East Allegheny. South Allegheny sneaking up into that 4 seed, see if they can do that. McGuffey falls down. Brownsville, once again, looks like it could be another long year for the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons have been a little under the radar these past couple of years. 1-8 in 4 of their past 5 seasons. But under Von Braddock, they're looking to really improve and maybe get a couple more wins. Start off on a good note here against South Allegheny. And you take a look, a couple players to watch in this matchup. First for South Allegheny, I think a big-time player. He's a junior, Mark Stasak. He's a guard. He also plays defensive end. I think really you're going to focus on him on the defensive side. Yeah, I talked to Coach Pat Monroe for South Allegheny earlier, and he said that Stasak is really a great two-way player. He really described him as a super two-way player for South Allegheny. And take a look at the other side. Brownsville, they're going to have their issues. You know, new coaching staff, going to have a new offensive system. But one player I think you've got to look out for is Jimmy J.J. Stoken. Yeah, Stoken, we said his name a lot last year in the Brownsville game, and he's really a stellar player for the Brownsville Falcons, and he could be a difference maker in this game. Yeah, Stoken, one of those players. He's also a junior, plays running back and linebacker, so you're going to hear his name a lot on both sides of the ball. Alex, you know, you take a look at this game, a 1-8 team from last year. Really not a whole lot going on. You know, you kind of look at the field, not a whole lot of Brownsville players out on the field. Tough year for them with the new head coaching staff. What do you think really are the expectations for this team? Well, I think the expectations for this team is really just got to be improve over last year's record and make themselves a competitive football team again. As I said earlier, they finished 1-8 in 4 of the past 5 seasons. So these fans are really itching for a winning season or at least a competitive team out of this Brownsville Falcons team. And last year, South Allegheny defeated Brownsville 21-7. So under a different head coach and under a different system, I really think that they can pull off a win here tonight and get on the right track. And we will see if Brownsville can in fact pull off that upset victory. Kickoff for South Allegheny and Brownsville is next, right here on CUTV. Want the latest information regarding the Vulcan football team? Then check out the Coaches Show, where you'll get it straight from the authorities.
We still have everything in front of us if we can do the things we're capable of doing.
Because we have expectations, and you know we'd like to shut everybody out.
I feel like this was the first week that we actually came together and ran on all cylinders.
We're awful excited about beating 2 nationally ranked teams.
Falcons Football 2009, Tuesdays through Fridays, only on CUTV.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Does peace really have a chance within our lifetime? At Rotary, we believe it does. We've created programs at universities around the world, dedicated solely to teaching peace to a new generation. There's a new symbol for peace. Rotary.
Welcome back to Redstone Field, where we are just about ready for kickoff in this interstate matchup between the South Allegheny Gladiators and the Brownsville Falcons. I am Andy Walter. Joining me is Alex Kunkel. Alex, let's take some time and take a look at the tail of tape based on last year's season stats.
Well, last year, Brownsville finished with a 1-8 overall record and in the conference. Their 68 points were actually the second lowest offensive output of any team. Only Shamokin had less points, 299 points against. That's something they'd really like to improve upon. On the other side of the coin, South Allegheny 5-5 overall, 4-5 in their conference, 149 to 277. Again, another split that doesn't really look that great, but something they'd really like to improve upon.
And I mean, you take a look at those, I think, you look at last season's stats, South Allegheny's really got to have, I think, a big edge going into this matchup, but we talked about earlier, first game of the season, who knows what you're going to see.
Exactly, yeah. Brownsville's got a new head coach, Blon Braddock, and, you know, anything can happen, especially under this new system. No one's seen what this tactic that he may bring is, so it may be a surprise for South Allegheny.
And we'll have to see if the Brownsville Falcons can let the animal loose, as we're going to take a look at our storylines. And Alex, it's something we kind of discussed before we got on camera, at least for the opening. You talk about the storylines. Brownsville 1-8 in 4 of their past 5 seasons. Hopefully this year they can turn that around.
Yeah, exactly. And they haven't been bad, but they have not been that great. And this is something they're looking for, a little better consistent, that a couple more wins, maybe crack a playoff here in a couple of years. Obviously, that's not going to happen this year.
And you take a look, South Allegheny, the last winning season was 1993. They have a lot of 500 seasons, just can't quite push over that hump and get to above 500 record.
Yeah, and Pat Monroe really made strides with this team last year, and a second year under Pat Monroe may mean the winning season that they've been looking for, possibly a playoff berth.
And once again, this is a AA matchup in the Interstate Conference. We talked about it in the open. We'll stress that once again. South Allegheny expect to be kind of a middle-of-the-road team. They're predicted to finish 4th in the conference. Brownsville, they think it's going to be once again kind of another slow rebuilding season for them as we move into this 2009 campaign.
Yeah, and it's going to take a couple of years to get this team back up to consistency, but with doing it right, and they'll be a beast in this conference for a long time if they do it right.
And it will be interesting just waiting for the captains to come out for the opening coin toss here. I mean, Alex, you know, we talked about a couple players to look for. We talked about a player for Brownsville, at least, like a Jimmy or J.J. Stoken, as he's also known. You take a look at the quarterback situation for this Brownsville team. 3 quarterbacks. You're looking at a freshman, a sophomore, and a junior. You'd expect maybe Henry Hamilton, the junior, to get started. We're not real sure what's going to happen, but you see those young quarterbacks and you look, and really this team is full of a lot of young players. Seems like they may have some talent going into the future.
Yeah, and especially if they just get their reps early, ride the hot quarterback and see what works for you, and you may have something to build on in the future.
And we see just about getting ready for the coin toss, which will get this 2009 season underway. And you kind of take a look at these two teams and you take a look at what's going to happen. We'll look at the schedule later in the game, but I know Brownsville for a fact has to go to Jeanette next week. So really for them, starting off this season, it's only going to get harder from here.
Yeah, South Allegheny, on the other hand, has to go to Waynesburg. So if they win this game, they could easily be 2-0 in early preseason or early season favorites.
Yeah, Waynesburg was another one of those teams. I believe they also finished 1-8 last year, much like Brownsville, predicted to finish kind of down towards the bottom, much like Brownsville. So be another interesting matchup. You figure, now South Allegheny, they got to look at this game, much like they're looking at next week's game. You're going to expect probably 2 very similar teams.
Yeah, and like you said, Waynesburg was actually next to last, in the Interstate Conference last year. Brownsville was 3rd, Waynesburg and Washington all in that bottom tier, and Brownsville would certainly like to get out of that cellar and move up to a South Allegheny type, or even maybe not a Jeanette powerhouse, but at least a respectable South Allegheny type.
And Brownsville will be receiving the kick. They will be defending the end zone to the left as we see it here at Redstone Field. And, well, you know, he's kind of had a few months off, you know, just kind of been itching to get back into that high school football schedule, and it's finally here.
Indeed, and everyone else in the community. It's always a community thing in southwestern Pennsylvania where you get all types of people back out supporting their hometown team. You know, the food, here are the fried Oreos and Pizza Wagon Pizza. You know, it's a lot different environment than if you go somewhere such as eastern Pennsylvania or western West Virginia. It's a lot different atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kickoff to the football weekend, I think, for a lot of people out here. This is their lives. I know I grew up in a town where football really, was a big part. That's what you did on Friday nights. You didn't go out to dinner. You didn't go to the movies. You went to the football game. It really just kicks off the weekend. You figure high school on Friday, college Saturday, Steelers on Sunday. That's the weekend for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a ritual.
For South Allegheny.
Looks like we are finally going to be ready to get underway
Back to receive for the
for
Falcons.
South Allegheny.
Is
Can't quite see the
5
number yet, but they will be kicking off, going back deep.
Number 15, Carl Gaddis.
For Brownsville, the number 15, Carl Gaddis. He's one of the quarterback prospects we talked about, also plays some safety. He's only a sophomore. Also back there deep, it looks like is number 6, Nick Landman. He is also a freshman, so we're just about ready to get underway. You're going to have to bear with us because I know there's some numbers on the field right now. We don't have those numbers on our roster, so we'll try to get those names as we go along as we are underway. Kickoff going to be picked up at about the 15-yard line. Going to break a couple tackles, get up across the 22. That is going to be Trey Hall, number 5.
22-yard line.
Hall able to turn that out to the 22, the sophomore. Able to give Brownsville some pretty decent field possession to start things off here.
Yeah, and that was a good return considering how at first the kickoff was muffed and you see it go right through his hands and then has a little bit of trouble getting in his hands, but he did a good job to break a couple of tackles and get his team at least a respectable field position instead of what could start out as a disaster for the Falcons.
Zachary Patterson was the up man there, number 11, who's able to get a hand on that ball and knocked it down, but we are ready to set up this offense. Looks like Brownsville going to come out 4 wide receivers. Now they're going to motion into an I formation. Handoff up the middle. Going to go for about 1 yard.
Carlo handoff to Stoken.
It's going to be
Flags
Jimmy
on the play.
J.J. Stoken on the carry. There are some flags on the play. Looks like they came down a little bit late. We're going to have to wait for the official's word here.
Just a fullback draw there for the
Brigliano
Falcons
in on
and
tackle
right
for
up the
the
gut, and
Gladiators.
South Allegheny would not have any of it.
And that's going to be a personal foul against
There's a
Brownsville.
personal
That's going
foul
to move
against
them
the
back
Falcons.
a good ways, and that's a killer. I remember last year's game, Brownsville was a team that had a fair share of penalty trouble. We'll have to see if they can try to get rid of those demons going into this season.
And that's one thing, really, if you can keep your penalties down, you're going to be in a lot of ball games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take a look at some of the top teams in this league, like a GCC or a Jeanette, even go to other conferences, you take a look at those top teams. The other teams aren't getting penalized as much, and you always wonder, why aren't these teams getting penalized? It's just sound fundamental football. These personal foul plays is just one thing that can really kill you in the long run.
And personal foul penalties, too, are some of those ones that you really don't want to happen, but at times you just can't control them because sometimes you grab a face mask by accident, or sometimes you just get angry and take a swing at somebody.
It's going to be a pitch to the right side of the field. Nice hole there for Nick Landman, able to break it to the outside. Excuse me, that's Trey Hall on the carry, brings it to the near side. And that is going to be a gain of about 23 yards. And if they mark this, or it looks like they're going to mark it, that's going to be a first down for Brownsville. Huge offensive play there.
A great run there by Trey Allen Trey Hall to get to the outside on the pitch, evade a couple of tacklers, and that's easily going to be a first down by about 3 yards. A great recovery from that penalty for Brownsville.
Yeah, it really was, because Brownsville was faced with about a 2nd and 21 or so after that ball's moved back half the distance to the goal. And see Brownsville almost using Trey Hall like a wingback right now, bringing him in motion into the backfield. Looks like that's going to be a lot of their offense moving in here.
And South Allegheny, if Brownsville can keep this up, really could have a good shot at winning this game. That was a sound run.
Looks like we're going to run an option keeper. That's going to be Brandon DiCarlo breaking it across the middle of DiCarlo. Going to go for a first down. That's going to be a gain of 20. And Brownsville now in Gladiator territory. Once again, it seems like Brownsville going to utilize that option. Nice job there.
That's another great run, QB draw, and that was right up the middle, and he was able to use the holes that his offensive lineman created for him and get into the secondary, make them run, maybe tire them down a little bit. That way, get some players rotating, and that'll really help Brownsville to their advantage.
And you take a look, you see DiCarlo, quarterback, come up almost like he's going to go into a shotgun, then comes with the line of scrimmage. Once again, we're going to have a wingback come in motion. Give me another little option, misdirection handoff. That's going to be Hall on the carry to the right side. Flags on the play. Hall gets a carry of 4, but we'll have to wait and see if this play will stand.
This may be a illegal motion penalty, as that came down right at the handoff.
On the stop.
Looks like we're going to actually have a sideline warning, as the South Allegheny sideline, I guess, was getting a little bit too close to the playing field there. So referee asked him to back up.
Against the Gladiators.
I'll pick the flag up, and that will be all. So it will be a gain of 4. It's going to set up a 2nd and 6 here for Brownsville.
And through these last 3 plays, we've really seen that Brownsville is able to run the ball and run the ball with authority.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you think through the past couple times we've been here, Alex, Brownsville's a team where they had their moments of speed, but they couldn't sustain that speed on the offensive end. In this game so far, seems like they're doing that.
Correct, and if passing play could even pop out, but I think they're really going to be primarily a running team. That
option keeper, and DeCarlo is planted in the backfield. That's going to be Jordan Bills coming from the linebacker position. The junior able to get right in there for a loss of 1. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, and that was a great play by South Allegheny to snuff out that play and come right in and make the tackle quick and early, keeping Brownsville to a 3rd and 7 long situation.
And you talk about 3rd and 7 coming up now. Now Brownsville in a position where we may look to see a pass here from the freshman Brandon DeCarlo as he sets up under center. Once again in motion, that's going to be Hall, going to be a little quarterback keeper up the middle. DeCarlo, nice job there by South Allegheny sniffing it out. First man of the ball was Don Coriglano, the sophomore, able to get first contact there before a whole wave of Gladiators takes down the quarterback.
Yeah, and again, South Allegheny really snuffed out that run, and Brownsville really could not create any holes in the offensive line for DeCarlo to sneak through. And it's drive stalls here.
And it looks like we're going to see a punt out of this Brownsville team. Back deep punting for Brownsville is Noah Saxon. Back deep to return is Dean Veal for the Gladiators. Punt on the way. A little side-to-side spiral, going to be right about the 10-yard line. He is brought down right there. Nice job by Brownsville. Flag on the play, and it looks like they may get Marky Johnson there for a little bit of over-celebration, if you will, because I know Johnson, just kind of held his hands to his helmet right after that play was ended.
Yeah, that was – I did not see the return man call for a fair catch, so this may be an unnecessary roughness, or I'm sorry, a personal foul, unnecessary celebration.
Let's see if we can take a look on the replay. I mean, I thought, you could have possibly saw a fair catch, but at the same time it was one of those iffy calls, so I didn't want to say anything. We'll take a look, see what's going on here. So the officials are talking with the South Allegheny coaching staff. You're kind of looking, you have a couple officials standing at the 10-yard line. They're not real sure what way the ball's going to go.
There's also one flag at about the 40-yard line, so we may have a multitude of penalties.
And you see one flag gets picked up. You see Brownsville setting up the offense at the 25. There's an illegal procedure against Brownsville.
Face mask against the Falcons.
That penalty will be declined. There was also a face mask against Brownsville. That will be accepted. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. See if we can take a look here, see if we can't see this face mask.
It may have been on the dive.
Yeah, right. I think the second man to come in there.
Yes.
Maybe I didn't quite catch the number, but see the second man in to make that play. It looks like he may have gotten a piece of the face mask. So tough break if you're Brownsville.
Yeah, he may have just clipped him, and that is a tough break because they would have had them at the 10-yard line. That would have been a tremendous punt and a real obstacle for South Allegheny to overcome.
South Allegheny under center, I formation. Ball's going to be handed off up the middle. Running back breaks off 1, 2, 3 tackles, able to get 5 yards. And
Fox hands off to Campanese.
Going to have to give us a second here as we're trying to get some more of these numbers. I believe that was Nick Campanese, number 9, able to make that carry for 5 yards. And I think if South Allegheny, they're going to take 5 yards every first down. You get those second short opportunities all night long. Eventually it's going to pay off for you.
And this Campanese guy really looks like he's able to break a couple of towers. Big, strong guy. Break a couple of tackles, get a couple extra yards after contact, and that'll really help them out in the long run as well.
I formation. Looks like this ball is going to be handed off to Campanese. Once again, he is met in the backfield and stood up by a whole horde of Brownsville Falcons. It's going to be a loss of 1. And right there, nice job by Brownsville. Sniffed out that play, able to stop it in the backfield.
Yeah, and they almost look like a swarm of hornets out there in black and yellow, and they just swarmed right on the South Allegheny running attack.
Tyler Tobias in on
and
tackle.
Setting them up for a 3rd and long.
And it looks like your running back, Campanese, may have actually gotten back to the line of scrimmage, so it will be a 3rd and 5 for the Gladiators at the 30-yard line. Once again, coming out in an I formation. Wide receiver to each side. Looks like tight end's going to be on the far side of the field. For center going back to pass, little out pattern. That is going to be overthrown. Intended receiver was Wes Watson. It's a little bit too much mustard on that pass.
Yeah, and that was a good idea by South Allegheny there to try and get the pass for the first down. Watson was actually relatively open, as we'll see here in the replay. It was just overthrown just a tad. Good protection by the South Allegheny's offensive line. Just overthrown just a tad.
And it looks like South Allegheny is going to have to punt. Going back deep to return this punt is Levon Mickens, the senior for Brownsville. Once again, we're still trying to work on some of these numbers here, especially for South Allegheny, as that punt is away, is going to bounce off the back of a South Allegheny player. That means Brownsville will get really good field position. That ball goes off of Dean Veal's back. Looks like you're going to start at about the 41-yard line.
That was a really fortunate bounce for Brownsville, and they got lucky just a tad. I almost thought that there could have been a roughing the kicker penalty in the backfield as 3 Brownsville players swarmed in on the punter, but that was a really fortunate bounce there, and that'll start them at really good field position. If they can use their running attack like they did in the first drive, they could have a shot at a field goal or maybe even a touchdown.
7:48 left here in the first quarter. There is no score in this ball game. Brownsville with great field position to start off at the their own 42-yard line. Looks like Brownsville going to once again come out kind of in that wing formation. Under center is Brandon DiCarlo. We're going to have flag on the play.
It's like maybe if off.
The way that was thrown, you may see a delay a game, illegal substitution, maybe even looks like it's going to be encroachment. Apparently, the South Allegheny player was lined up in the neutral zone. And really, the good news just got better for Brownsville. You get great field position. Now you get half that first down taken away.
Yeah, and I saw Brownsville clapping their hands and getting really excited after that. And they look like they're coming out with a lot of passion and a lot of force, something maybe that we haven't seen as much of in previous years.
Motion looks like it's going to be a little option play to the outside, and that is going to be snuffed out once again. DiCarlo on the carry. Dante Scott able to get over the line of scrimmage, and that's 2 or 3 times we've seen Brownsville try to run that option, but South Allegheny's doing a nice job by the outside backers, just stepping in, making sure he has nowhere to go.
Yeah, and that's 3 straight running plays that Brownsville has tried that South Allegheny has just snuffed out. So maybe time to go for a pass here, as Brownsville has not attempted a passing play yet.
It will be a loss of 1, 2nd and 6 for the Falcons at the 47-yard line. Looks like we're going to have trips to the right side, or near side of the field for Brownsville. Going to be a little pitch play. That's going to be Hall. Hall finds a gap, gets the first down over the 40. He's going to run out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Trey Hall off to the races to get another huge gain, and that's speed that you just can't teach.
Oh, no, that was – he broke to the outside, and as soon as he broke, he was gone. And his wide receivers did a great job of blocking him, and that pitch play has really worked for Brownsville in the 2 times that they've used it.
You've got to give a nod to Trey Hall there, because really on those pitch plays, you just got to look for the hole. He's able to find the hole a little bit closer to the middle of the line. Goes right up the gut, able to do a nice job breaking that outside for another first down.
And you saw in that replay, too, that Hall just lowered his head and barreled over one of the South Allegheny players. Had he not been as close to the sidelines, he easily would have had a touchdown.
In motion is Carl Gadd. It's going to be a little handoff up the middle. That's going to be Jimmy Stoken. It's going to get a gain of 2.
Takes it to 35.
It will be 2, and that'll give a 2nd and 8. So Stoken, a player, we said you might want to watch out for in this game. Getting a couple carries early from the fullback position.
Yeah, and Stoken is really a tough guy. He'll get those short, tough yardage for you. And Hall will be that really speedy go-go back. Kind of like a Willie Parker-Jerome Bettis combination.
It's a good combination to have. I mean, you have the speed and you have the power. Oh, why not? I like that. It's catchy.
Same colors.
2nd and 8. In motion is Trey Hall. It's going to be a fake pitch. Brownsville going to roll off the pass. DiCarlo looking to go to the far side of the field. This one is thrown up, and it will be incomplete, as Freddie Heiser is the intended back there. Intended receiver, excuse me. It's a tough break there for Brownsville. Just a little bit of an overthrow, and Heiser just didn't know where that ball was going to end up.
Yeah, and it was almost seemed like a broken play, because I'm not sure that DiCarlo wanted to run it first, or pass it first, I'm sorry. Then he was able to get off, and he got a good pass off where Heiser was only going to be able to catch it. It was just an inch out of his reach.
So that will bring up a 3rd and 8 at the 35-yard line. Brownsville going to come out in that same wing formation we've seen for just about all of this game from the Brownsville offense. DiCarlo under center. It's going to be Gaddis in motion. Going to fake this one handoff up the middle. Little trap play. It's going to be Hall making 1-man miss. Tries to make 2nd-man miss, and that is not going to happen, as there are 3 South Allegheny players there. Looks like Dean Val, quarterback, was able to get there first.
Yeah, and Hall really showed some of his speed there. He was able to evade 1 tackler to get out of the backfield. As you'll see here on the replay, he really just stiff arms one guy, makes him go, and then He just can't evade the second one.
Well, I'll
Three
tell you
guys
what,
got.
Alex, that was number 62, Mark Stazak, the one player that we thought really coming to this game. I know the Pittsburgh Trib-Review marked him as one of the 5 players to watch in the Whitfield this season. For Hall to be able just to pretty much give him the stiff arms, give him the business right there to get to the outside. A great play. And Brownsville is going to take a timeout here, try to discuss what they want to do in this 4th and 6 situation.
And this is a tough situation where you can't decide because of this field position. It's tough to really judge whether you want to punt it or you just want to take a chance on 4th and 6 because worst case scenario, you're giving it up at about the 35-yard line.
And you take a look at some of the big runs by Trey Hall early in this game, and I think, right there is probably part of the reason that you're having so much discussion about this if you're Brownsville, because Trey Hall has really been able to bust off a couple of big runs. Saw that first run there, and once again, we see a little option keeper there by Brandon DiCarlo. The quarterback, the freshman, has really been doing a great job in this game, really controlling the game, not trying to step out of his element and do too much.
Yeah, and these major Brownsville rushing attacks have come off the running back toss, and Hall has really been able to use that speed, get some great blocking by his wide receivers, and get to the outside.
Looks like Brownsville's going to go here. Trip receivers to the left, 4th and 6. So it's going to be a rollout play for DiCarlo, looking for somewhere to go. Players in the backfield, makes one man miss, however, cannot make the second man miss. And that is Mark Stazak, takes him down. DiCarlo gets rid of the ball, and, well, quite honestly, looks like that's going to be an intentional grounding penalty.
Yeah, there's nothing else that really could be except an intentional grounding penalty. As he was going down, DiCarlo just threw that at the ground. There was nobody around, as you'll see here in the replay. He just, as he's getting tackled, he just throws it right at South Allegheny.
Yeah, Dom Corgliano was the first one in there. DiCarlo is able to get away from that. Then Stazak comes up, and once the big fella gets a hold of you, that's pretty much it. Tries to get rid of the ball. Intentional grounding is going to be a turnover on downs.
And that's really a bad break for Brownsville. As they really wanted, if nothing else, just to hold their ground through an incomplete pass, hold their ground, and put South Allegheny at about the 36-yard line. But instead, this penalty is going to kick the field position a little bit in South Allegheny's favor now.
Take a look. 6:01 left here in the first quarter. Still no score in this matchup. Is trying to get things switched up here. Kind of trying to take a look. You see the officials trying to figure out where to spot this ball.
I believe the flag was picked up.
Not sure. Maybe saying the flag was picked up.
I don't know if it was that or if it was just a maybe. I'm not sure, Alex. Well, it doesn't matter. It's all a moot point now. The facts are that the Gladiators have the ball at the 33-yard line, 1st and 10.
And this is a much better situation for Brownsville now, since the flag was picked up or whatever happened.
High formation, toss play to the near side. Campolese loses the ball, not able to pick it up. Ball is loose, and it will be recovered by Brownsville. Looks like I saw black jersey get to it first. They're going to have to dig for the ball, and it will be Falcons football, 1st and 10, just outside the red zone. Great play there by Brownsville. Looks like Zachary Patterson may have been able to come up with that ball.
Yeah, and that was great play all around, as you'll see here on the replay. Right off the toss, Campanese fumbles it, and as he's trying to pick it up, he gets leveled by one Brownsville player. Gets taken out, can't quite pick it up, and you'll see Patterson come in off your screen and be able to pick the football up and get it for Brownsville. And this is a great situation now for Brownsville. After having a 4th down go to spoil, you get the ball back in a little better field position.
And that was Jimmy Stoke, number 32, getting in there helping lodge that ball loose. Brownsville, great field position, 1st and 10. Going to be handoff up the middle. It's going to be Stoken. He's going to get a gain of about 4. Going to set up 2nd and a short 6 here for the Falcons.
Yeah, and that was a good run by Stoken. He had a little bit of a hole, and he was able to use it. One of the South Allegheny players was able to get him from behind there. It looks like it's going to be Mark Stazak who actually gets him from behind. But not after he was able to get 4 yards in the 2nd and 6.
He gives Dom Corgliano a nod there on the tackle as well. He's in with Stazak. It will be 2nd and 6. 5:25 and counting here in this first quarter of action. Brownsville looking to see if they can't strike deep in South Allegheny territory. Fumble on the play. Ball is loose.
Fumble on the play.
There's going to be a pile, and it's going to be recovered by South Allegheny. So as quick as Brownsville comes into the good favored field position, they give it right back up on a fumble.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of happy hands here early in this football game. As went for the handoff to Stoken, and it just a little bit of miscommunication. Stoke could have gotten a hold on it, and South Allegheny pounces on it.
So just like that, South Allegheny gets the ball back. Whoever they are, back about 20 yards than they were on their last possession. So now field possession becomes important if you're a Gladiator or if you're a Falcon. If Brownsville can hold them deep here in their own end, they're going to have a great field position for another drive.
Yeah, and South Allegheny really wants to get about 10, 15 yards here to keep, even if the drive stalls, just to get them back on their side of the field and make them work for a score.
Going to be an inside counter trap, and that is going to be Dean Vale with the ball. Vale to the outside, going to get the first down. Going to get a gain of 13 yards out to the 30-yard line. Nice job there by South Allegheny, changing directions and a little misdirection up the middle.
Yeah, great handoff by South Allegheny. Really able to find the holes that were created by their O-line. He just breaks to the outside, makes one guy miss, and then he's off to the races for a good 13 yards there, as you said. That's going to be Trey Hall who ends up making the tackle, making an impact on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, nice job there by Dante Scott on the offensive line for South Allegheny. Able to pull there and make a big block right at the line of scrimmage. Help spring that big run. South Allegheny twins to the near side of the field out of the I formation. Handoff up the middle. That's going to be Campanese, and he's going to get stopped. The line of scrimmage able to plow forward. Looks like he's going to get a gain of 2. They're going to give him 3. It's going to set up a 2nd and 7. 4:40 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, if you're South Allegheny, you'll take these tough, short yardages just to get the defense tired a little bit. Brownsville's not as deep overall as South Allegheny is. In players, at least, not on talent. But, you know, you want to wear the defense down a little bit.
And South Allegheny going to go with twins to the near side once again out of the I formation. Going to be a little fake play action pass to the outside. Brownsville sniffs it out beautifully. In the backfield, Zachary Patterson, the senior, with a big sack.
Yeah, that was great pursuit by Patterson on that play, and that's really going to put South Allegheny in a hole here. What you're going to see in the replay is a fake play action. And Patterson had it all the way once he knew it was a pass. He had him all the way and took him for a nice little ride there.
And that will set up a 3rd and 20 here for South Allegheny back at their own 20-yard line. And this is one of those positions, Alex, where if you're South Allegheny, the last thing that you can give right now is a turnover.
Yeah, this would be heartbreaking for South Allegheny to turn the ball over at this point. But I think right now you're looking to get this first down. And it's kind of a step back now after that drive started off so well.
Going to run that little counter play once again up the middle. That's Campanese. He has a whole lot of room to work with, and he will run. It's going to be close, and based on the marking, he is going to have the first down as we're just about right lined up with it.
All the way out to the 40-yard line.
That's a brave call there for South Allegheny. Campanese able to get the little counter trap up the middle. Breaks it for 21 yards and a fresh set of downs.
That was an excellent run there by Campanese on the replay there. He just comes right outside, uses his holes, uses his blocking. He knows where the first down marker is, and he's not going to get denied in that first down.
Well, and you can tell that South Allegheny offensive line just loves running that play. You see 2, 3 guys pull, and they're just going helmet to helmet with this Brownsville team, able to knock him back on that play to get that first down.
And we've seen so far that South Allegheny's offensive line is really solid.
That ball complete to Jordan Bills. Bills are going to cough it up. However, going the other way is Brownsville. That will be Marky Johnson on the far sideline. Brownsville going to get the ball back in very good field position. He's going to go out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Once again, a tough break for your South Allegheny. Another turnover.
And that was a great return by Brownsville, too. Great tackling, great hard hitting, and that ball just popped out. Brownsville swarmed at it. Good pass there. However, you're going to see here in the replay, he comes out and he nailed right there by
Stoken once again. Yeah, that's a name we saw in the first film. He was able to get in there and make sure that ball is loose. Lodges another ball loose right there. And Johnson with the nice return. Looks like he was first called out of bounds at the 41, about the 41.5-yard line. So 2:58 left in this first quarter. Brownsville with new life in South Allegheny territory once again.
Yeah, and this is another excellent field position for Brownsville. They've been really fortunate with their field position lately. They just haven't been able to do anything with it.
Hall in motion, going to get the toss. He's got some room to the outside, cuts it back up the middle, fumbles the football. It's on the ground once again, and it looks like South Allegheny may have gotten to it. Going to have to wait to dig this ball out of the pile. And it will be South Allegheny Gladiator football. And just like that, both times Brownsville gets a turnover. As soon as they get the ball, they give it right back up.
Yeah, and that was a good run by Hall, too, but as he was getting tackled, he really just lost the handle on it, and we've seen that it's a dry day, but it's kind of uncharacteristic there. As you see, it just got, slipped out of his hands, and this is uncharacteristic number of turnovers for these teams, and this game could come down to which turnover costs them the most.
Yeah, one of our guys on the field, Joe Rubel, just pointed out it's getting a little wet. The dew's starting to fall, so grass is getting a little wet. Maybe that's why we're seeing a couple more fumbles. Nonetheless, South Allegheny will have the ball. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Going to run out of that I formation once again. Deep back is Campanese. He's going to get the handoff up the middle. Finds a little bit of room to work with up across the 35 to the 37. They're going to say he was down by contact before the ball came loose. That'll be a gain of 8 yards there for South Allegheny, giving them a second short.
And once again, you see an excellent push by the offensive line to create a hole for Campanese, as he's able to use this hole, get right through the middle, and get a good 8 yards before he's tackled by a couple of Brownsville players.
Gladiators will have a
It's going to be a second
down and 1.
It's going to be second and a long one or a short two, depending on how you look at it, from the 37-yard line. Once again, looks like South Allegheny is going to set up in that I formation. Brownsville looking to counter with their own little 4-3 here. Up the middle, it's going to be Campanese. Get the handoff, gets hit in the backfield, and he will be taken down. First contact made there by number 54, Brownsville.
Yeah, and that time I saw 50 come up early in the snap count, and he was able to really pursue the running back, Campanese, and able to pull him down in the backfield. So you're going to see here right off the handoff, he just gets leveled. And Andy, this Brownsville defense has really been able to adjust on the fly and not let South Allegheny get much momentum into their territory.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, you take a look at the field position battle in this first quarter. It's all in Brownsville's favor. You figure we're at 1:20 left. A good 10 minutes of this first quarter has been on the South Allegheny half of the field.
And in fact, I don't even think South Allegheny has cracked Brownsville's side of the field, have they?
Not sure. Handoff up the middle. Another fumble on the play. It's going to be a scrum for this ball. 2 players. It will be Brownsville recovering once again. Looks like it may have been Carl Gaddis. There it is, number 15, able to just catch that ball. Right place, right time there. Another turnover for South Allegheny.
And this may just be another case of the dew, as you see he never gets a good handle on that. And it just pops out, and Addis hands it over, and this is another turnover. And Brownsville again starts in South Allegheny field position.
Didn't mean to cut you off there,
That's
Alex.
all right, but it's been turnovers that have been really killing Brownsville.
Yeah, it looks like number 34, Tyler Tobias, really able to get in there, lodge that ball loose, create this opportunity for the Falcons. Hall in motion, going to be a little fake, going to be a pass. Rolling out near side, going to throw us one up across the middle. Wide open receiver downfield, and it is complete to Levon Mickens. Mickens inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line. Give him the 11, and that will be a fresh set of downs.
And if you're Brownsville, that's the big play you needed to shake that turnover bug and really get yourself on. And you'll see here on the replay, a good play-action fake by DeCarlo. And he's able to get that ball away just before he gets tackled. And actually, Micken was pretty well open there, as you'll see right here. He's got nobody around for 5 yards.
Yeah, if you're South Allegheny, you've really got to be thinking the pass rush there, because DeCarlo wasn't able to set his feet, really get his arm into that pass, had to underthrow it a little bit, forced Mickens to stop. Wasn't quite able to take that one to the house. But Brownsville in the red zone from the 11-yard line. 50 seconds left in this first quarter. It's going to be a pitch to the far side. It's going to be Mickens with the ball, trying to find somewhere to go. Goes inside, back outside. He's going to get a gain of about 2 yards. That will set up a 2nd and 8. 40 seconds left here in the first period of play.
And that's a good idea for a play for Brownsville. It's worked earlier with Trey Hall. And you'll see here Mickens is able to get to the outside. And he's able to fight for maybe another yard or two there after the tackle. And this will most likely be the last play the first quarter.
And 20 seconds left. Brownsville can come out in that wing formation. Once again, under center is DeCarlo. It's going to be Hall going in motion. Going to be a little option play. DeCarlo going to keep himself up the middle. Gets inside the 10, down to about the 6-yard line. That's going to set up a 3rd and 4 for the Falcons, and that will end our first period of action. No score in the ballgame. Second quarter of action going to come your way next, right here on CU TV.
Want the latest information regarding the Vulcan football team? Then check out the Coaches Show, where you'll get it straight from the authorities.
We still have everything in front of us if we can do the things we're capable of doing.
Because we have expectations, and we'd like to shut everybody out.
I feel like this was the first week that we actually came together and ran on all cylinders.
We're awful excited about beating 2 nationally ranked teams.
Falcons Football 2009, Tuesdays through Fridays, only on CUTV.
Oh, yeah, baby! 3-5 on the offense. No scores. We start the second quarter of action. However, Brownsville faced with a pivotal 3rd and 4 from the 6-yard line of South Allegheny, looking to go ahead in this matchup. My name is Andy Walter. Joining me for this match was Alex Cutv. Alex, the first quarter, really, the only thing you really need to talk about, turnovers.
Yeah, 5 turnovers combined between the two teams. A lot of fumbles. Brownsville fumbling in the South Allegheny field position. South Allegheny really not able to get out of their own 30-yard line. They get one great run, but then they get pushed back, and another fumble sets up Brownsville for another good possession.
Yeah, it's been a fairly clean first quarter. Not a whole lot of penalties. I hope I'm not jinxing anything by saying that. I'm sure I probably am. But, you know, pretty clean quarter after that first couple of drives.
Knock on wood.
Brownsville's trying to set things up. Still haven't quite got the ball set. Brownsville at the line of scrimmage. South Allegheny waiting to meet them there as we are ready to get underway in the second quarter. 12-minute quarters here in high school football. Brownsville sets up under center, Brandon DiCarlo. It's going to be Hall in motion, going to do a little option. Carlo up the middle's got room, going to dive for the pylon. For the goal line, excuse me, doesn't quite make it. They're going to call him down at about the 3/4 yard line. That will be a 1st and goal for Brownsville, knocking literally right on the doorstep.
And that's really a great run by by DiCarlo. Getting a first down, getting your team a fresh set of downs and able, less than a yard to go. 3 chances to push it in the end zone, 4 chances really to push it in the end zone and put your team up early. And couldn't ask for anything more.
This is one of those opportunities where you get to see the offensive line, the defensive line, see who can root hog their way in the favor of their respective team. South Allegheny pushing back, Brownsville pushing towards that end zone. So they set things up here at the 1-yard line.
And this is where trench play really comes into position.
It's going to be an option keeper. DiCarlo up the middle, and he will find Pater. Touchdown, Brownsville. 6-0, 11:30 left in the second quarter. Sticking with what works, Brandon DiCarlo able to find the end zone for the Falcons.
And that's another great run by DiCarlo, and we've seen it all game. He's really able to use his legs from the quarterback position. That's really another offensive threat, as you'll see here. Fakes to one guy, follows his blockers, puts his head down, and gets into the end zone.
Tell you what, Jimmy Stoken, JJ Stoken, as we've also been calling him in this game, play the fullbacks. He's supposed to take that little fake there by DiCarlo, able to blow up a man right in the hole. Really helps spring DiCarlo to get into that end zone.
Yeah, Brownsville's done a great job at blocking during this game. Both teams really, offensive line, offensive players have been able to really help their team out by putting up some great blocks.
Extra point on the way, and that is true. 7-0 Brownsville leads. South Allegheny will get the ball back after this commercial break right here on CUTV.
You're watching CUTV, home of the best news coverage of California and surrounding areas.
On Tuesday, another fire sparked in Fayette County.
We are on scene in Carroll Township.
Andy Walter likes the wing tee.
Your home for Vulcan Sports.
Hand off to Brown. He is stopped. Played in on net and a goal.
Atlantic Regional Champions.
And original student productions.
I never. No, wait a minute there, Sassy Pants. Don't get me started on that.
Keep it tuned to CUTV.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Brownsville able to finally find the end zone after many possessions in the South Allegheny end of the field. 7-0 your score. 11:30 left before halftime. Brownsville will be kicking this ball away.
Yeah, and on that last drive, we really saw Brownsville able to take advantage of a turnover in South Allegheny territory, use some runs and one great pass, put themselves up 7-0 early.
Dean Veal, Nick Campanese back deep to receive for the Gladiators. Doing the kicking duties this evening for Brownsville is Noah Saxon. Ball on the way, it's going to be Veal taking it far side of the field, up across the 20, 25, gets across the 30, he's got a couple holes. Brownsville able to swarm defensively and make that play. So take a look once again, key plays of that drive. You see the fumble right there going in Brownsville's favor, Alex, and from that, just a whole lot of running.
Yeah, we'll see here in the next play. This should be the pass that really put Brownsville in some great field position here. As you see, DeCarlo's able to set his feet and get that pass away before getting hit. He's got wide open spaces, Micken does, and he's able to bring it down to the 11. And then you'll see here, this is going to be the touchdown run by DeCarlo. Right following his blockers, gets into the end zone. And if you're Brownsville, you got to feel real good after getting this lead early.
And South Allegheny looking to answer from the 32-yard line out of the I formation. Campagnese with the handoff going to the near side of the field, and he is met by a whole host of Brownsville defenders. He's going to get a gain of about 1. That's going to set up 2nd and 9. Once again, Brownsville just swarming to that ball defensively, Alex.
Yeah, Brownsville's able to really judge the play right off the handoff, and they were able to get a good burst of speed, get a burst off the line, able to swarm, get a couple guys on him and not let him break a couple of tackles and get some extra yardage.
And it looks like it's going to be 2nd and a long 9 for South Allegheny. Is going to come out once again in the I formation.
The I formation, Andy, is something they've used pretty much the whole game. I don't know that we've seen a different set by South Allegheny.
Dropping back to pass, looking for somewhere to go across the middle. That ball will be completed to Mike Cleary. Cleary met as soon as he caught that ball. And he will get about 6 yards on that play. It's going to set up a 3rd and 3. Stoking in on the tackle there for Brownsville.
Yeah, and we saw there another great example of the South Allegheny line, really letting him set his feet, get off a good pass. And Cleary able to catch that ball cleanly, get his arms set around that ball, and able to really not lose control of it.
And it will be 3rd and 3 for South Allegheny. Brownsville going to come out once again in that 4-3 formation as we roll under 10 minutes left to play before intermission here at Redstone Field.
And we saw even earlier, too, it's good to get, I believe it was Cleary who earlier caught a good reception but then let the ball pop out of his hands.
Fumble on the play out of the I formation camp. Campagnese has to fall on the ball. That's going to be a loss of 5. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 8. Once again, the fumble bug bites in a very bad situation for South Allegheny. They can hold on to this ball, but it looks like they're going to have to punt.
Yeah, and it was a good reaction by Campagnese there just to fall on that ball, not try and get up and try and do anything special with it. By the time he got down on that ball, by the time he would have gotten up, there would have been a host of Brownsville players around him, and that would not have ended well.
And back deep to receive this punt will be Levon Mickens for Brownsville. Back deep doing the punting duties is number 13. This ball on the way, almost blocked. Brownsville able to get away from the kicker, though. And there's going to be a fumble on the return by Mickens. Ball is loose, and it is going to be recovered by Brownsville. Looks like Mickens able to get possession, and it's a lucky break there. So it looked like Mickens tried to run before he had possession of that ball.
Almost 2 lucky breaks, because right before this on the replay, the punter had a hard time controlling. It was a low snap, and he was just able to get that punt away. And then we saw there Mickens at the last second decided to go under that ball and try and return it, but broke on it a little bit late, and he was only able to get his fingertips on it. A lucky break, though, for Brownsville, Andy, able to get this ball back and put them up a couple of scores, perhaps.
Yeah, we mentioned, the dew starting to fall, maybe making things a little more slippery out there. Also, you got to remember this is the first real game action that these teams have seen in almost a year. You say you can't simulate game action during practice, and I think that could be holding true so far in this game.
Yeah, and if that's the case, we'll see a lot better football as we go on, even in the second half, as they're able just to get out from this little new bug.
Mickens up the middle, has room to run, cuts it back to the far side of the field, making defenders miss left and right. Mickens still on his feet at the 30-yard line, going to be taken down at the 27-yard line. A huge gain there for Brownsville. It's going to be a gain of about 30 yards. And right there, Mickens being that motion man, able to find the gap up the middle once again.
And Brownsville here, Andy, may have something with Trey Hall and Levon Mickens here. As we see in the replay, he just goes and he's able to make people miss. He's not exceptionally fast, but he's able to make people miss and keep on his feet, as we'll see here as we go along. He makes 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys miss before he's finally brought down.
Brownsville with a 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line, looking to score once again. 8:45 left in this second quarter of action on the opening night of WPIL football here in the Interstate Conference. Options going to be pitched to the outside. Hall not able to hold on to that ball. Is going to fall out of bounds with it. That will be a loss of about 5 yards. Brownsville just a lucky break there. It looks like DeCarlo just got a little too trigger happy on that option pitch.
Yeah, and that's a tough break for Brownsville, as you really had something going there with your running game, and that was usually a play that worked for you and got you a couple yards. Instead, this is something that puts you back 5 yards and gives you a 2nd down and long. Now you may have to get a pass here to try and get a couple of yards back.
We'll see what Brownsville does coming out of this huddle. You see South Allegheny is setting up that base defense once again. Brownsville is going to come out in that same wing formation we've seen so far in this game. DiCarlo under center, motion man's going to be Mickens, cuts it back the other way, handoff up the middle. Stoken able to shake off one defender before he's finally brought down. Looks like he got back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard more. It's going to set up a 3rd and 10 for Brownsville.
And that's something really, if you're Brownsville, something you wanted to aim for is getting back to that original line of scrimmage. Give yourself something semi-reasonable to work with. Maybe another try at the toss play or a short pass. Get some yards after the catch. Set yourself up for another first down, perhaps.
It's going to be 3rd and a very short 10 here for Brownsville. Not changing the offensive formation to this point in time. Under center is DiCarlo, going to hand someone off, fumble on the ground. Hall picks it up, able to get some positive yards out of that. Almost disaster for Brownsville. Hall able to make it into a positive. It's going to set up a 4th and 4. Alex, if you're Brownsville right now, you go for it on this 4th down.
I think at this point you do have to go for it, Andy, because this is a position where your field goal kickers, even though you trust them this may be a little bit out of their distance, usually only the really elite field goal kickers in high school can make something from this far out. It's going to be about a 34-yard kick, which is a little long, so at this point you're going to have to go for it, and Brownsville is going to do so right now.
Brownsville comes out quick, setting up at the line of scrimmage. DiCarlo under center. No motion on that play, and there will be flags on the field. Looks like it's going to be a false start against Brownsville. We'll have to wait and see to confirm that ruling, but if that's the case, that's a very tough break because now Brownsville is going to be faced with a 4th and 9.
Yeah, and that's 4th and 9, maybe something where you do actually go and punt at it, but I think at this point you still go for it because it's still a little bit too close to really call. Most likely the punt would go into the end zone. I mean, you could have a good lucky bounce and it stays at about the 1-yard line, but
see DiCarlo coming back to the huddle, checking that quarterback wristband. Looks like Brownsville is going to elect to go for it here on 4th down. Clock is running with 6:30 left to play before halftime. Brownsville enjoying a 7-0 lead over South Allegheny.
And I said this before, too, that at this point, even if you throw an incomplete pass or get a no gain, you're still putting South Allegheny to about the 29-yard line, which isn't much worse than
It's going to be a pass. Looks like going to be a screenplay, and that's going to be sniffed out beautifully. A whole host of gladiators in the way. It looks like it's going to be Tyler Wagner getting credit for the sack, number 35, and that will be a turnover on downs. And now South Allegheny gets some of the best field position they've seen all game.
Yeah, and just as I say something about how Brownsville just getting back to the line of scrimmage, they really can't even do that on a passing attempt. Yeah. South Allegheny really has been able to sniff out the passing attack for the most part this game.
And you take a look at kind of the way the defensive lineman able to break through there. You almost think that you were going to see a screen to the far side of the field. You saw Trey Hall go in motion that way. I expected a screen. DiCarlo couldn't quite get that ball out in time. Thank you, Alex. My words got all jumbled up in my head there for a second. But South Allegheny will have possession, 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line in the I formation. It's going to be Campanese with the ball, going to the far side of the field, cuts it back, able to make a couple of guys miss for. He is waylaid at the 40-yard line. Tackle made there by number 21, Levon Mickens.
And that's a good run, a good start to this drive by Campanese. So you're going to see here on the replay, hopefully, there we go. You're going to see here on the replay how he's able to get to the outside, use his blockers once again. That's really something that South Allegheny is used to their advantage. Andy is really using their blockers.
And it'll be a 2nd and 3 here for the Gladiators. Out of that I formation once again, I think you see South Allegheny in this game really content to run this ball as Campanese gets another handoff, able to just sidestep a couple of defenders, fall forward. He's going to get 2 yards. It's going to set up a 3rd and short here for South Allegheny. And you see once again these kind of situations where you're going to see that blocking really come to play into South Allegheny's favor.
Yeah, and unfortunately South Allegheny has had a couple of bad breaks where they haven't been able to make the 3rd down conversion for one reason or another. Sometimes it's been a turnover or a penalty, or there's just been something really that hasn't gone in South Allegheny's favor.
And South Allegheny, at least from their fans' perspective, getting an unfavorable spot of the ball. It's going to be 3rd and 2 now from the 41-yard line, so a little bit more work for the Gladiators to do on this 3rd down to convert. Handoff to the up man, and he's going to be stopped in the backfield and wrapped up. Looks like it was going to be number 35, Tyler Wagner, trying to make that play happen, and Brownsville sniffed it out right from the start.
Brownsville just swarmed the line of scrimmage there and they were able to break through the offensive line, something we haven't seen them do a lot of so far. And that's going to be...
And you take a look. Looks like Levon Mickens was in there, number 21, also number 40 in there on that play. And it looks like South Allegheny is going to be forced to punt here. Back deep will be Levon Mickens, who fumbled the last punt for Brownsville, able to hold on to it, however. He's again doing the kicking duties for these Brownsville players. There's a flag on the field as we start to get that punt rolling. It's going to be a false start, it looks like, against South Allegheny. That's going to move them back 5 more yards.
And Andy, that was a real good break for Brownsville as well, because that looked like it was going to be a fake punt, direct snap. I cannot tell who that was to. It looks like number 11, Patterson. It looked like it was going to be a direct snap to, but the false start really put a dagger in South Allegheny's plans there. And now I think you see them actually punt the ball.
Yeah, it'll be 4th and 9 from the 40-yard line, and this will be punted. It will almost be blocked. We have a kicker ran over. That's going to be a penalty, so it looks like South Allegheny gets new life. Ball going to bounce. It'll be down at the 29-yard line, but kind of watching a little bit of the extracurricular activity happening behind the punt. The question is, it'll be roughing the kicker or running into the kicker?
I'm thinking it's going to be roughing the kicker, but we'll see what the referee says.
There's a second flag down right around the line of scrimmage, right in that area that you might expect to see a holding call, so we'll have to wait and see just what happens here as we have a little meeting of the minds near midfield.
And this could be the first big break that South Allegheny gets this game. You saw another real unfortunate break for the Gladiators on that last third down. Like one of the problems they've been having this entire game, they have not been able to convert on third downs. And that's really what stalled their drives. They've gotten 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 2s, but they can't convert on them, and that's really what's killed them in this game.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what the official call is. It will be running into the kicker against Brownsville. We're going to have a hold against South Allegheny. Offsetting penalties. Put the ball back at the line of scrimmage, and let's punt it again. See if we can take a look on the replay here. You see right there, right in the middle of the field, you see a player just kind of getting held there in black. And it's a tough break because, I mean, South Allegheny would have gotten that penalty. Maybe you would have saw them, see what could have happened on offense. But as it stands, they're going to have to reset, going to have to repunt this ball. And now, I think really if you look at this repunt, you got to kind of lean in the kicking, or the return team, favor. Because you figure the guys on the kick team, they've already ran down all the way the length of the field once. Now they're going to ask them to do it again right back to back.
Yeah, and this is really a tough break now. And this is going to be tough. We'll see what South Allegheny is able to do. They've been able to get real good pressure, Andy, on Micken in the backfield. Micken has not been able to get a good return off. But like you said, these guys were a little bit tired. They just did this. They're going to have to do it again. And this may be an opportunity for Micken to get a good return, maybe into South Allegheny territory, and give Brownsville another good field position.
And we're just going to see what happens here. 3:57 left before halftime. Brownsville, really something they didn't really have a whole lot of last year, a lead right now at this point in the game.
Yeah, and
we talked about, Alex, this team only scoring 70 points in a whole season, just about averaging right around a touchdown a game, and for them to have this touchdown, to have this lead so early on, I think really goes in their favor going into the second half. And gives them a lot of confidence.
And I think, Andy, sorry to cut you off there, but I think if they go into halftime with a lead, they go in with this mentality that, hey, we can do this. We can defeat this team. And I think that'll really pay dividends for them in the second half, really give them an extra boost of fire in the inside and able to really spark this team and give them a win.
Punt away. Men coming in. We're going to have another flag on the play. Going to be blown dead, so that punt will not count as well. Going to have to wait and see. You almost have to say that you're going to see another false start, and that's the way the one official is looking at the head referee, giving him that signal. If that's the case, South Allegheny is going to have to get it moved back 5 more yards, and you figure every time you move this ball back 5 yards, it's going to give Brownsville a lot better field position going the other way.
And that's 5 more yards the punting team has to run, and that's twice now. They've had a couple guys run downfield 2 times now.
And then, you look at the other end, and Mickens is just kind of standing back there waiting to receive the punt. He's not doing a whole lot of action, so you have a return guy who's pretty much fully rested, in the sense, if you will, back there, versus some gunners that have been downfield running, maybe 50, 60, maybe even upwards of 80 yards on these last 2 punts.
And it also gives Brownsville an opportunity to really see what the punt formation is like.
Low snap, going to get that punt away. It'll be up in the air. Brownsville looking to get away. However, it's going to be returned there by number 4, Brandon Franks. Gets no return on the play. You see one of the blockers, something you don't see a whole heck of a lot, Alex. One of the up guys turning around, able to get that ball. Can't quite make the play. Coming up at halftime, you take a look at what's going to be going on. The South Allegheny and the Brownsville marching bands will both take the field We'll also show you our first half play of the half. It's coming at halftime right here on CUTV.
And this is another drive, Andy, that's going to start in South Allegheny territory. And we've seen a lot of Brownsville drives come in this position, many of them off of turnovers and bad breaks for South Allegheny. But we saw Brownsville take advantage of one turnover, get a good pass, and then a couple of well-timed running plays. Let's see if they can do it again here.
We'll see what Brownsville is capable of as the clock is under 4 minutes left in this second quarter. Handoff up the middle. It's going to be Stoken with the ball. Going to fall forward for a gain of 3. It's going to set up a 2nd and 7. Brownsville on that first play from scrimmage, keeping it simple.
Yeah, and we said Stoken's able to get those hard, tough yards up the middle, and we see it there again. He just puts his head down and uses what his offensive line gives him and takes what he can get, sets up a little bit better second down.
On a tackle for the Gladiators.
Clock is running, 3:20 left to play. Brownsville not quite in the hurry up yet. They know they have a lot of time to try to really work this ball downfield, considering they only have half a field to work with right now.
Yeah, and if you're Brownsville, that was a good starting position for what position you had left.
Handoff once again to Stoken, able to use that front, that loose hand to really propel him forward, get an extra 2-3 yards. It's going to be a gain of 4. It's going to set up a 3rd and it's going to be a long 2 or a short 3, depending on how you look at it here for Brownsville. Looks like it's closer to 3.
And again, it's another nice run there by Stoken, right up the middle. Nothing special, nothing flashy about it like we've seen from guys like Trey Hall or Levon Micken. It's just straight, flat-out, hard-nosed running, and sometimes that's really what propels you through a game.
Once again, Stoken in the backfield. It's going to be Mickens and Hall as the wingman. Mickens going to come in motion. Be a pitch to him on the near side of the field, able to cut this one back up the middle. However, whole swarm of South Allegheny defenders in the way. First contact was Tyler Wagner. Also in on the play was Jordan Bills. And right there you see South Allegheny hold strong. 4th and 4. It looks like Brownsville will bring the punt team out.
And Andy, you really saw after that toss that it was really a dead plays. Mickens had nowhere to go. South Allegheny just had Wagner had first contact there. South Allegheny really was able to sniff that play out and give them a chance now to go on the offense. The only problem for them is going to be their field position.
And it looks like the ball will be punted away. Punter's going to fumble the ball, going to try to pick it up, fumbles it once again. Is going to have to fall on it. Tough break there as Noah Saxon cannot hold on to that ball. And now South Allegheny with 1:49 left on the clock gets great field position for a 2-minute drill.
And of course, as soon as I say something about South Allegheny having bad field position, punter fumbles the snap, and South Allegheny's going to get a great opportunity here at their own 49. This is probably the best field position they've had at any point during this game.
Just about. I mean, we talked about earlier, South Allegheny barely even getting into Brownsville field on the Brownsville side of the field in this game. Now they're already at the 49-yard line with just under 2 minutes left to play. South Allegheny going to come out in an I formation. Campagnese is the deep back. Fumble the snap, ball on the ground, and it will be
I believe it's recovered
by
Fox.
South Allegheny. Looks like it's going to be Dylan Fox, the quarterback, able to fall on that ball for the Gladiators.
And that's just a fumbled snap and a broken play there by South Allegheny. And of course, every time they're sniffing in a Brownsville territory, something happens and they're not able to do it. They're lucky that they got the ball back this time.
Yeah,
but every time, they seem to have something else go wrong and they just can't get into that territory.
Yeah, Dylan Fox, I believe, is the name of the quarterback we've been trying to find this entire first half. If that's the case, he is a freshman, so stepping into a new role on this team. 2nd and 10, going to fake the handoff. Fox looking to pass, going to come to the near side of the field. Nice job jumping the route. Almost an interception. You see a little "you can't see me" right there by Carl Gaddis. Boy, Alex, great play there. Gaddis, he's 1 second sooner. That's an interception going the other way.
Yeah, that was a great pass protection play there by Gaddis. You'll see here on the replay, just able to get a handout and not allow Cleary to get that. If you let it roll a little bit further, you see that little extracurricular, "you can't see me."
So the trademark Carl Gaddis able to make that play defensively, sets up a 3rd and 10 here. For South Allegheny is going to be play action, going to be a little screenplay. Has Campagnese. Nice job there. J.J. Stoken able to bust through the blockers and make that play defensively. 50 seconds left. The clock is running. Brownsville going to take a timeout. And now I think you're going to see Brownsville bring the house on this punt attempt.
And this, again, you saw it again. Another drive where South Allegheny is right there on Brownsville territory. They can see it. They can smell it. But yet something goes wrong. A broken run, an incomplete pass, and a pass attempt that goes complete, but it's in the backfield. And it's a 4th and 17, and you're forced to punt again. If you're South Allegheny and Pat Monroe, you're really going to be frustrated at this point.
Yeah, I tell you what, right now, I mean, your punter's leg has got to start to get tired from kicking that ball so often. Figure last time, just with all the false starts and everything, he probably punted the ball 3 or 4 times before he actually got one away. Looking at the other way, back to receive is going to be LaVon Mickens. Brownsville taking a timeout here.
Again, folks, let me remind you,
4th
this game
and
is
17.
I guess if you look at it on the good side, though, Andy, punter's getting a lot of practice. He's able to get.
You take a look at, kind of, I guess the storyline of this first half, Alex. It's been the turnovers, it's been the fumbles. Here you see a nice little collection of them.
Yeah, Fumble Fest 2009, week 1, as you see there. 34. Don't believe I wrote down who that was, but he made a great play there. Another one right here. We're going to see another one right off a reception. You're going to see a great play there by Gaddis. Knocked that ball loose.
Mickens on the punt return just about makes first man miss, cannot make the second man miss. So Brownsville will have 70 yards in 38 seconds. See if they can score before halftime.
I think if you're Brownsville, though, you're not going to run anything too flashy, Andy. You're just going to play it simple, get a couple running plays, not turn the ball over, and go into halftime with the lead. At the position you're in, considering not very often last season you went in with a lead, you're going to cherish it very dearly.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Alex. If it was me, I'd run and gun here. I mean, why not? I mean, I think, I agree with you saying you're going to cherish that lead, but at the same time, this team has been through enough. It just depends on how head coach Von Braddock wants to approach things. Last year you expect this team to have a lead. You're going to see them go right for the jugular before the half, get that 2-touchdown lead, but it'll be interesting to see kind of what we see happening here on this offense.
I think, though, Andy, if you were about 10, 15 yards further up.
We had a flag on the play.
If you were about 10, 15 yards further up, I think you'd have a lot more run and gun. But I think at the position you're in, you're inside your own 30, and you only have 36 seconds. That's not a lot of time, and it's a lot of field position to cover.
Yeah, this ball is moving backwards as there's a penalty on that punt. I didn't see any flags on the field. My mistake for missing. It's going to be a holding against Brownsville. Moves it back to about the 20. Oh, now we're trying to figure out where this ball is going to be marked. Looks like Brownsville is going to take another timeout here. This ball just keeps moving back and back and back, and now they're back to about the 12-yard line.
The flag seemed, from what I saw, the flag was about at the line of scrimmage, but the reaction was very late. At the time I saw the flag, it was getting picked up, and I saw no signal from the referee that there was actually still a penalty happening, which is why I did not say anything at the time, was because it did not seem like there was an actual penalty, that the flag was just getting picked up.
And for this to be a hold, I mean, this had to happen at the beginning of Mickens' return because, I mean, that ball was spotted at the 30-yard line. Now it's been moved back 18 yards to the 12, so 10 yards from the spot of the foul is going to be what happens here for Brownsville. We're going to see a new quarterback check in. Henry Hamilton, a 6'4 junior, going to get some playing time here under center as we go into the half.
And maybe this is because they're going to go run and gun and try and get a second score before the end of the half. I mean, if you're up 14-0 on the South Allegheny team that you lost to 21-7 last year, it's got to be a big milestone for you.
By the way, I changed my story now that they're at the 12-yard line. I think they're just going to run this ball, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be up the middle. That's going to be Stoken. They are going to keep the ball on the ground. Gain of about 3 yards. Going to set up a 2nd and 7. Clock is running. 30 seconds left to play here before halftime.
And I think, like you said, now that because of where they're at, they're just going to let the clock run, not try anything special or tricky. Just give it to Stoken, let him run up the middle. As we saw, he has sure hands. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's just gotten a couple hard yards up the middle and go into halftime with the lead.
And there's 8 seconds left here before halftime. Brownsville are going to have to hustle if they want to get this play off. They are running to the line. 3, 2, play is off. It's going to be a passing attempt. Brownsville going to throw it deep on the far side. And this ball is thrown up, and it will be incomplete. Intended receiver was Marky Johnson, double covered over there on the far side.
Just a little bit overthrown, and it was almost intercepted, actually. I could not tell who had the coverage on that pass, but a fortunate break there for Brownsville. But they're going to go into the locker room with the half. And if you're South Allegheny, the one thing that's really going to frustrate you is these turnovers and not being able to crack Brownsville territory.
And that will be your halftime score. You see it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Brownsville 7, South Allegheny 0. The Brownsville and South Allegheny marching bands will be back on the other side of this commercial break. You're watching high school football right here on CUTV.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Now in our 22nd season, CUTV is your local leader in high school football coverage. Don't miss a second of the excitement with CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week.
It was not. It was like.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
You are watching CUTV, California University Television.
Welcome back. Your halftime score, Brownsville 7, South Allegheny 0. Now taking the field for your halftime entertainment, the South Allegheny Marching Band, to be followed by the Brownsville Marching Band.
Stay tuned after the bands for our play of the half, followed by the second half here at Brownsville.
hard-rock performance the following year. We close tonight's performance with The Pretender.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Brownsville Area High School Golden Falcon Marching Band under the field direction of Drum Major Miss Emily Murray. For our first selection tonight, we would like to take you back to the era of the Beach Boys with a song titled I Get Around. Bobby Darin's piece known as Splish Splash will be our second selection for the evening. For our third and final selection, the band will be playing a song by Paul Simon entitled You Can Call Me Al. Brownsville Area High School Golden Falcon Marching Band is directed by band directors Mr. Daniel Cutv.
Welcome back to Redstone Field, where at halftime score the Brownsville Falcons lead the South Allegheny Gladiators 7-0. I am Andy Walter. Joining me is Alex Kunkel. And Alex, you take a look at the first half of that matchup. And really, Brownsville, they had the field position game. They were able to score the touchdown.
Yeah, and it was really a battle of the turnovers in the first half. I believe the number was 5 combined turnovers in the first quarter alone And eventually it was one turnover that South Allegheny committed that led to Brownsville being able to get one good pass and a couple of runs later, and they were able to put it in the end zone for a 7-0 lead.
That's how you really got to give a nod to Brownsville in this first half. To number 5, Trey Hall, as well as number 9, Brandon DiCarlo. Those two players really made a difference. DiCarlo, the quarterback, connecting on that long completion. Also, he did a lot of the running up the middle for Brownsville to score that touchdown.
And also, you got to give a little bit of credit to number 21, Levon Micken. He was able to pull in that reception, that big reception on Brownsville's touchdown drive, and he also made a couple of nice runs throughout the game, and he's been another one of those big players for Brownsville.
Yeah, Alex, and this is the third time I think you and I have been here to Redstone Field, and I can honestly say that this is the most energy I think I've ever seen a Brownsville team come out of the gates with, and they've really done a nice job sustaining that throughout this entire game.
Agreed, and I think they've really fueled off of what their defense has been able to do. They have not allowed South Allegheny to penetrate their side of the field. There have been multiple times, as I've said before in this game, there have been multiple times where they've been on the doorstep. One time where they started driving the 49-yard line, they've been right on that doorstep, but they have not found a way to get over the 50-yard line and into opposition territory. And whether it's fumbles or a couple incomplete passes or a sack, there's always something else that seems to really plague this team.
Yeah, and you go back to the beginning of this game, the first couple drives for South Allegheny. One thing we noticed, them running a lot of counter traps up the middle. They're able to run that effectively. However, as this game has gone on, Brownsville, I think, really done a better job, adjusting on the fly, able to hold South Allegheny down.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of times where South Allegheny's offensive line is able to really give their running back some holes, and they've been able to get some good runs out of it. However, it's been a couple of, we've said, turnovers have really plagued this team, and it's just been a couple of bad breaks, a couple of sacks, a couple of turnovers.
And now we're going to take a look. I have some good news and I have some bad news for everyone out there. Good news is we are coming back with the hot dog contest, the 2009 edition. The bad news, our main man, Paul Danilo, has graduated. He is now a grad assistant here with us. But let's take a look at the high school hot dog calendar, if you will. Brownsville leading off the first week. Very good number to start out with in 10.
Yeah, it's a very good number, and though we don't have anybody. And for our viewers at home, if they don't know what a 10 means, the number that we rate these hot dogs is the number of people that we would stand behind in order to get one of these hot dogs. So in order to stand behind 10 people to get one of these hot dogs, that is a tremendous amount. 15 was the big number last year, but 10 is still a very good number.
Yeah,
the 15, I'm sorry, Andy, go ahead.
Probably getting ready to say the same thing. Connellsville was able to bring home the trophy last year with a 15, as you said earlier. Brownsville, they're coming out of the gate strong. I remember, last year we had a couple 7s, a couple 8s, and then really towards the end of the year, hot dogs started hitting their stride. I think when the temperature started cooling down, these hot dogs got nice and warm. They really hit the stomach of Paul Danilo in a very kind way, if you will.
And I think for our viewers at home, too, stay tuned to upcoming episodes of high school football, because we will have somebody down there. I believe we have our own Marcy Newbert down there. She will be your sideline reporter later on this year. She'll be doing your hot dogs. She'll make sure to do them right.
Yeah, Paul, it's been fun. We had our memories throughout the past year with your wonderful stories, among them the high school contest every week, as well as our fan of the game. And we miss you out here. Well, you're still out here. You're in the truck right now, but you're not on the sideline. It kind of brings a tear to my eye looking down the sideline and not seeing that red-haired man patrolling.
And Andy, Paul set a high bar for any sideline reporter that follows through, but I think he set a high bar, but everyone learned from him, and he was able to really put an influence on them. And I think Marcy and whoever else does it is going to do a real good job in the future.
It looks like we are ready to get back to some football here in this second half of play. 24 minutes left in regulation in this matchup. Getting ready to start the third quarter. South Allegheny should be receiving this punt, or this kick, if my memory serves me correct.
And Andy, one thing to keep an eye on now that the sun has gone completely down, the dew is going to become more and more of a factor. It started becoming one earlier, but I think at this point the second half is really going to be a key factor, is this dew. And we've seen earlier that both teams really could not keep a handle on the ball. If it's because of the dew earlier, could become even more of a problem now.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Temperature finally starting to drop. It's up around the 73, 74 degree level when this game started. Now it's getting back down to the 60s, getting a little more comfortable for the fans. Gotta say, a lot more comfort for the players, too. I'm surprised in the first half. Didn't see a whole lot of cramping. We thought maybe that was going to be an issue.
It was a relatively clean first half overall, Andy. We didn't see a terribly enormous amount of penalties. A couple here, a couple there.
Kick on the way, a little bit of a knuckleball spin on. That's going to be taken at about the 12-yard line. Coming up the middle is Dean Vale. Vale has a seam. He's up the middle, and he's off to the races. 50, 45, 40. Kicker trying to catch up with him. He will bring him down from behind. Nice job there. Noah Saxon able to make that tackle, but by far, Alex, the best field position we're going to see for South Allegheny.
South Allegheny's got to be real happy with this kick return. They really just took it off, as we're going to see here on the replay. Like you said, a little bit of a knuckleballer, but Vale was able to really find a hole, accelerate, and once he got through that first wave, he had everything but blue sky ahead of him. Looks like that's 33. Derek Linkowski's My Roster says finally able to bring him down, but not before South Allegheny gets to the Brownsville 25.
Gladiators, 1st and 10 on the Falcons 25.
So it will be 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. South Allegheny coming out in that I formation. Going to be a pitch, going to be a little reverse play here, a little bit of trickeration. Able to make one man miss going to the outside. Brownsville, nice pursuit. Going to be able to hold that ball behind the line of scrimmage as Jordan Bills trying to find somewhere to go with it. Now, it looks like he's going to end up with a loss of one there.
And that really looked like it was going to work at first, but Brownsville continues to swarm on the running back as soon as he gets the ball. As we see there, he made two guys miss. However, that's 15. Gaddis was finally able to wrap him up and just held on and went along for the ride and was able to finally use his weight to bring him down. Looks like a short loss, maybe a second and a short 11.
Out of the I formation, South Allegheny. Under center, Fox will look somewhere to go. Out pattern, that is going to be incomplete. As right there, once again, Jordan Bills tries to make that catch. Nice attempt, just couldn't quite make the catch.
At first, I thought he was able to come down with it. And Fox, and we're going to see here on the replay, nice setup, another nice attempt, and just can't hold on to it as he's diving down there. South Allegheny, when they've gone into the pass, they have seemed to have a lot of time. Their quarterback's able to set his feet and get a good throw off, and that's mainly because of their offensive line and the job they're doing today, Andy.
Yeah, Alex, it has been a nice job by this offensive line in the pass department, just not quite having that luck completing those passes downfield, as it will be 3rd and 11 from the 26-yard line, 11 minutes left to play in the third quarter. It's going to be a handoff, and it's going to be Campanese going up. He's going to be close to that first down marker. We're going to have to wait and see. We have the South Allegheny players thinking he's got it, but this may require
Johnson on the tackle.
Judging by the spot, he may have it, but it depends on where they spot the ball.
15-yard line of the Falcons.
And
going to give him a first down. Well, yep, they're going to give him a first down.
Got a first down.
Judging by the first referee who ran in with the spot, it looked like he had it, and looks like they have it enough to not measure it.
Campanese, back man in the I formation. Once again, under center is Fox. Going to be a little counter play. Campanese has some room to run. Cuts it to the outside, the near side. Makes one man miss. Finally is brought down there at the 9-yard line by number 55, Adam Carney. That'll be a gain of 6. Going to set up for 2nd and 4 from the 9-yard line.
And if you're Brownsville, this really has to be somewhat deflating for you because you came out at a half. You wanted to continue this defensive momentum that you had in the first half of not allowing South Allegheny to gain many yards, forcing turnovers, and then you come out and you allow this long kick return, and then the 3rd and 11, you allow them to get this first down. It's really going to be kind of dagger.
And you see South Allegheny's offensive line finally starting to take control once again. I formation going to be Campanese on the handoff up the middle, able to bounce off one defender, going to push down around that 5-yard line, and he's going to be dangerously close to a first down. Looks like once the ball is marked, they're going to mark him back about half a yard short. Have to wait and see just on the spot of the ball.
Another nice.
Stopped around the 6-yard line.
Looks like he's going to be a whole yard short there. Actually, my apologies. It's going to be a 3rd and a very short one here.
Another nice hard-nosed run there by Campanese, just right up the gut, nothing flashy. Just keep a handle on the ball, get some yards, maybe get the first down, but nothing else. Set your team up for a short 3rd and 1, maybe 2, and give them a chance to convert this.
Freshman Dylan Fox under center in the I formation. Campanese dots the I. It's going to be quarterback keeper up the middle. He will drive inside the 4-yard line. Going to be very close to the end zone. To wait and see if he broke the plane, and it will be a touchdown. Touchdown, the freshman Dylan Fox puts it in, and just like that, it's 7-6, an extra point away from tying this game.
A great run there by Dylan Fox. If you take a look at the replay here, I don't know if we're going to get it, but if you take a look, he's able really to just use his blockers, fight his way up the middle, not just get his push and use his momentum to push him into the end zone, and that's what happened. He was able to get in the end zone, and a nice score there. Nice way to come out for South Allegheny.
And that was a great job there by the offense line. Just kept pushing and pushing. Eventually, in the end, was able to push Fox over into the end zone.
The extra point.
Extra point on the way. Lefty going to come in here to try to kick this ball. Is on the way, and that should be good. And just like that, our game is tied. 9:19 left in the third quarter, 7-7. Brownsville receiving the kick after this commercial break right here on CUTV.
Now in our 22nd season, CUTV is your local leader in high school football coverage. Don't miss a second of the excitement with CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week.
A 5-yard quarterback keeper by Dylan Fox ties this game up at 7s for South Allegheny. 9:19 left in the third quarter. You're watching first week of high school football coverage. The 22nd year CUTV has gone on the road to cover high school football. I'm Andy Walter. Joining me is Alex Kunkel. And Alex, in this game, see Brownsville go back to return this kick is something really we haven't seen a whole lot of. Brownsville maybe going to have some interesting field position here. This kick is returned by number 4, Brandon Franks. Frank over the far side field. He is brought down at the 17-yard line. Going back to what I said, Brownsville really back in the run for him a few times in this game to start off the drive.
Yeah, and we've seen here in the second half, I'm sorry to go off on a different tangent here, but I had something I wanted to say.
It's all right. I understand.
South Allegheny, it seems like we've seen two different South Allegheny teams here between the first and the second half. The first half, they were kind of a passive, just get a couple, but get a bad break here and there. This second half, they've come out almost with a new mind and just going right at it. A couple pass plays, a couple running plays, and really just able to use that kickoff return to their advantage.
And we'll see what Brownsville can do here, trying to set things up. Looks like there was a flag on the play. It's going to be a block in the back against Brownsville. Moves it back to the 11-yard line. So now Brownsville back just about back up against the wall here. They have 89 yards to go. Try to take the lead back in this game.
If they want to take the lead back, they're going to have to drive their way down the field. And we saw in their first drive in the first half, they were able to make it to about the 40-yard line on a couple of tosses before they finally got stuffed.
Big time run there by the big fella, Jimmy Stoken, able to bowl his way for a first down. His gain of 11 there. So we see Brandon Karlichik back in his quarterback, but right there, Stoken doing what he does best, running it right up the middle, taking some big hits.
Yeah, and he's able to find a hole, and he's able to drag a couple of defenders with him, not going down on first contact. And that's why he's able to use his strength, and that's why they've gone to him a lot of times in this game. They've used him for up the guts, and Trey Hall and Levon Micken for the outside tosses, and that combination really seemed to work for them.
Brownsville continuing to run into that wing formation. Under center is DeCarlo. In motion is Trey Hall. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Stoken once again fighting tough for yards. Not going down without a fight. It's going to bowl his way forward for 4 yards. And that'll set up a 2nd and 6. 8:40 left in the third quarter.
And we've maybe seen Brownsville do 2, maybe 3 passing plays the entire game. So you would think that South Allegheny would figure out this run. However, Brownsville's finding ways with Stoken's strength and Hall and Micken's speed. They're usually able to get away from 1, maybe 2 defenders and get a couple of extra yards, and those couple extra yards have really helped them on these drives.
Yeah, we'll see Brownsville. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. Coming out in that wing formation to Carlo under center. In the backfield now, it's going to be Levon Mickens lining up at fullback. It's going to be handed off. It's going to be Mickens with the ball up the middle before he is met by a whole plethora, if you will, of gladiators. And he's going to get a gain of about half a yard, if anything. And that's going to set up a 3rd and 7 for the Brownsville Falcons.
And a nice job there by South Allegheny to penetrate the line and not allow Micken to get anywhere. As you see, they just swarmed on him. It was a sea of white right off the handoff. If you're Brownsville, you may want to try and look at the pass here, as there's only been 3 passing plays, and the one catch by Micken was really monumental in their drive. Maybe see a look at him again. Maybe try and find him out in the open.
See DeCarlo surveying the defense forward. He steps under center. It's going to be Hall in motion, going to be a little reverse trap play. It's going to be Gaddis up the middle. He's going to fight for some tough yardage. He's going to be close to that first down marker. Going to have to wait and see if the spot gives Brownsville a first down.
I think it's going to be just about a half yard short, but we'll see where he finally ended up as he was pushing his way. So we'll see here on the replay. Gaddis right up the middle, and he was able to lunge himself forward for maybe an extra half yard.
Tyler Wagner in on the tackle.
And it looks like he is going to be just a bit short. As actually, we're going to have an official's timeout. This is going to bring on a measurement, it looks like.
This is a close spot.
And we're going to have a measurement.
He may have it. Even if he doesn't, it's going to be 4th and inches, and I think and in that event, you have to go for it. The position you're in, just a quarterback sneak or a fullback draw, you got to go for it either way.
Take a look, and it looks like they do have enough for the first down, and that will move the chains once again. So Brownsville on this drive, 3 plays, 2 first downs. They've moved about 25 yards downfield.
And a great hard-nosed run there by Gaddis on that, and he was able to find the first down marker, and like we saw at the end of the play, he was just able to lunge himself forward and able to get another half yard instead of looking at a 4th and 2, you get a first down.
Stoken setting back as the fullback. It's going to be Hall in motion coming to left side. It's going to be a toss play to Hall, trying to find somewhere to go. Nice job there finding a little bit of a gap for where he's finally brought down. Looks like Mark Stazak as well as Tom Vasilich was in on the tackle there for South Allegheny.
No, it was a good job by Hall on that play too, Andy, because there really was no hole that emerged after the toss. As you see, he sneaks through, and there's Stazak, who really just goes along for a ride there, grabs the jersey, and just holds on for dear life.
Ryan Bednar.
But Hall was able to get 3 yards out of that, which in that situation isn't that bad.
And the clock continues to run. 6:30 left in this third quarter. Tie ball game, the first matchup in the Interstate Conference between these two teams. First game of conference season for each of them. As Brownsville on the offensive, Hall in motion. It'll be a fake toss. It's going to be a little pass play. It looks like DeCarlo rolling out. Going to try to find somewhere to go. Throws it deep downfield, and it will be deflected and incomplete. Brandon Franks tried to get to that ball. Ball was originally deflected there by South Allegheny. Almost interception, almost a completion. Ends up an incompletion.
Kind of like a jump ball busted play here. As you see, DeCarlo almost looks like he's going to run it here. This is going on his offside. Finally decides to pass and goes for Franks there. And kind of a jump ball between the defender and Franks.
Yeah, it looks like Wes Watson was able to drop back there from the linebacking position to deflect that ball originally. Lucky break there. If you're Brownsville, it sets up a 3rd and 7 from the 35-yard line. DeCarlo getting the play in from the sideline. Looks like it's going to come out. It's going to be trips to the right side, near side of the field. As you see it on your television, the only back in the backfield is Trey Hall. Far side of the field is Brandon Frakes. Under center, it's going to be a little peg play. It's going to be a little bubble screen to Franks. Able to get this ball. Going to try to go up the middle with it across the 40 to the 43, and he will fall forward to the 45. First down, Brownsville. Nice little play call there to get that first down.
Great setup on the bubble screen there, Andy. And Franks was really able to find holes, use his blocking, and able to get enough for the first down. He knew where the first down marker was. He evaded tackles, and he's able again to fall forward. Use that weight to his advantage. Fall forward, Andy.
We have an injury here. Looks like one of the officials ended up getting rolled up, looking at his left leg. So we have a stoppage on the field, and see they're just checking things out. You know, not real sure what happened. See if we can take a look at the replay. See right there, a nice little head fake right there by DeCarlo. Didn't do a whole lot. Able to get that defense rolling the other way. Able to find Frank. See if we can take a look and see what happened. You see right there, I believe it may have been to the left there. May have had someone roll up into the ankle. Not 100% sure. Couldn't quite see what happened. A lot of action going in there, but.
And again, on that play, DeCarlo is able to get that pass off despite the incoming pressure. You saw 2-3 white jerseys swarming in on DeCarlo, and he's able to still get a decent pass off to Franks.
I'd say we'll take a look at both of these teams as we still have the official down on the field. Let's take a look at the schedules. First, let's look at South Allegheny opening up here against Brownsville next week. I believe they will travel to Waynesburg, if that is correct. So that's going to be another interesting game for them. You figure Waynesburg and Brownsville pretty equal opponents. Then you see Jeanette, really one of those big games down on the road.
Yeah, if South Allegheny can hold with Jeanette here, this third game against Jeanette, then they go to Charleroi-McGuffey. If they can hold their own against Jeanette, they can have a serious shot at becoming a winning season. So we can take a look now at Brownsville's schedule after tonight's game. Sorry, Andy.
Oh, it's all right. You see there, I mean, next week, it gets very tough for this Brownsville team. You got to travel to Jeanette. After that, you host Charleroi. You expect Charleroi to have a really good bounce-back season, but at the same time, I think they're kind of in that state of flux that a lot of teams in this conference are, like a Brownsville, like a Waynesburg, even like a Washington, where you're not real sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, and Brownsville, the next 3 weeks are going to be their big test against Jeanette and Charleroi-McGuffey. That's going to be their test, is if they're able to hold tough with these teams, and I think that's the first goal you want to do, is hold tough with these teams. Because a lot of their games last year were 49-7, 35-7. They weren't able to keep tight. 45-14, not really close in many games, and I think that's one thing you want to do, is get close at least, give yourself something to build on, and go from there.
And take a look. Looks like we're just about ready to get back the action. The official was able to get up, and he limped off to the far sideline. Going to try to work on his leg a little bit more there on the Brownsville sideline. But looks like we are ready to start the clock. Exactly 6 minutes and counting left in this third quarter of action. Brownsville seeing if they can't continue moving this ball down the field. It's going to be Mickens in motion. Going to be a little handoff up the middle. Stoken trying to find somewhere to go with it. He gets wrapped up the line of scrimmage, and he will not find any forward progress there. It's going to be no gain. It's going to set up a 2nd and 10.
And Stoken, another hard nose right up the middle, but South Allegheny really was able to figure that one out, get penetration into the backfield, and if Stoken was going anywhere, it wasn't forward.
And you see right there, I mean, another player for the South Allegheny team. We haven't said his name a lot, but he's had a nice game. Number 66, Tom Vasilich, the senior, really doing a nice job down there on the defensive line.
Yeah, he's been a real bright star for the South Allegheny team so far this game.
Brownsville looking to pass. It's going to be drop back, throw to the outside, and that is going to be incomplete. Intended receiver, Levon Mickens. Brandon DiCarlo just tried to force that ball in, ended up sailing it out of bounds.
Almost seemed like it came out of DiCarlo's hand a little bit funny, as we'll see here in the replay. It's like it got a little bit on the back and wasn't able to get the grip on it he wanted. Oversailed it just a little bit, and now this is a peculiar situation for Brownsville, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Brownsville really has been faced with a whole lot of 3rd and longs. A lot of the third downs have been 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. So for them to have a 3rd and 10, I'm going to see what they try to come out with here as a play call.
However, a lot of Brownsville's 3rd down, they have not been that bad on 3rd downs. I don't have an official stat, but I believe their number is pretty decent on 3rd down conversions.
Roll out to the far side of the field. DiCarlo looking to run. Now he's going to look to pass. However, he is stopped in the backfield. He's going to have to throw this one away.
Carlo caught.
Applying pressure there is number 18. I believe that's Mike Cleary, able to get back in there for South Allegheny. And that's going to bring up a 4th down for Brownsville. The question now is, it looks like he was called down before he was able to get rid of that ball, so it's going to set up a 4th and 17.
We'll see here on the replay. I guess they were saying right before he released it that he was going to be down. Thought they were going to throw a flag for intentional grounding there.
Down for the Falcons.
So now, Alex, you take a look. The momentum really is shifting now. Brownsville had it basically the whole first half. Now South Allegheny comes, drives down, scores. Brownsville's now forced to punt. South Allegheny has a chance to take the lead. 4:40 left here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Brownsville wants to get a good punt off here. Push South Allegheny back in their own zone.
Punt on the way. It's going to be one hopper over the receiver's head. It looks like he is going to try to get to that ball. The ball is going to be recovered. Nice job there by Dean Veal to be able to get down on that ball.
Down around the 15-yard
there were a lot of Brownsville players just hovering around there hoping for that fumble.
And Brownsville, great punting that one over Veal's head. And he had to go back and chase it. He was originally at about the 25, and he had to go back and chase that from about the 25 down to about the 15. And instead of South Allegheny looking to start at their own 25, 30-yard line, they're starting way back in their own 15, more consistent with the field position they've had so far this game.
Yeah, and that's a great job if you're Brownsville. They're able to shift field position from their own end to South Allegheny's end as South Allegheny sets up here in the I formation.
And that may be, that punt, though it's not significant, that may be something that changes the momentum in this game.
Handoff. Campanese trying to go to the far side of the field. Not a whole lot happening there. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage maybe gets a yard or one. They are going to give him 1 yard. It's going to be 2nd and 9 from the 16. 4:15 left in the third quarter.
And that's the Brownsville run defense that we saw in the first half, swarming after the running back, not letting him get anywhere. So I can't tell. It looks like 77 who brought him down first from behind and was able to drag him back and say no, no, and no.
So it's going to be 2nd and 9 for South Allegheny. Once again, coming out in that I formation, Dylan Fox under center. Campanese is dotting the I for the Gladiators. Going to be a little pull play once again. Campanese getting this ball is going to be thrown down in the backfield. Excuse me, that actually was Dean Veal, number 7 deep. Not a whole lot going on there. Brownsville holds strong. It's going to set up a 3rd and 11.
I believe that was Ryan Mikioto, number 55, a freshman who was able to come back there, drag Veal down. And this is big. This is a big 3rd down now for South Allegheny. You're back at about your 14-yard line. You've got to get some field position here. If you're not going to get the 1st down, at least get it close so you don't give Brownsville this excellent field position, whether it be in a punt or a turnover.
Once again, South Allegheny not changing the status quo. Going to come out in the I formation. Back to passes. Fox going to throw a little out pattern and just overthrows the receiver by half a mile. Looks like Wes Watson trying to get out there to make that catch and just a little bit too much mustard on it. Now it looks like South Allegheny is going to have to punt.
And almost looked like Fox rushed that throw a little bit. He really didn't have any need to, but he threw it and good couple yards off. And now that punt looks huge for Brownsville because now they're going to get the ball back almost where they left off, about the 50-yard line.
Take a look. Levon Mickens lining up at the South Allegheny 43-yard line to receive this punt. Punter will be standing about the 2-yard line. Brownsville bringing the pressure, punts away, and it's going to be a fair catch by Mickens. It's going to let it go. It's going to take a good Brownsville bounce back across the 40. Will be down at the 39-yard line. So Brownsville, much like they did in the first half, starting out in South Allegheny territory.
And this is almost about the exact same position that Brownsville, their first half touchdown drive. It's about the same area where they started that drive. Again, that was highlighted by a Levon Micken 22-yardish catch. Put them at the 11, and then a couple runs later, right into the end zone. So this could be another big drive for the Brownsville Falcons. Just get a couple of runs going together and get some continuity and consistency from their running backs.
Brownsville coming out in that wing formation. It's going to be Stokes as the fullback. It's going to be Hall going in motion. It's going to be a little option play. Hands off to Stokes up the middle. Gets routed to the line. Able to fall forward. Fights for about 4 yards. Gets set up a 2nd and 6. First man there for South Allegheny was Mark Stazak, number 62.
And it seems like every time they run this play to Stoken, I'm sorry. He's able to get a consistent 3-4 yards right up the middle. And he's able to do that because of his strength and the ability to just ride defenders with him, drag them along, and able to get a couple yards. And
2:18 left to play in the third quarter. Under center. It's going to be a handoff now. It's going to be Stokes with the ball up the middle, fighting, able to make a couple guys miss. He's going to fall forward, and he's going to be dangerously close to another 1st down. And right now, we talked about him in the open. J.J. Stokes, one of those players. When he gets rolling, it's very hard to stop him.
Yeah, he has been phenomenal for this team, and we're going to get another measurement here. First spot looked like it was going to be enough, but Stoken has really been influential, not because he's broken out. He hasn't had any breakout runs, but he's just gone right up the middle each time. Get 4 here, 5 there. Get your 1st down here, get your 1st down there. Not flashy, but you don't need to be flashy to be successful.
Yeah, one thing you're seeing with this Brownsville team, they have, quite a few men have been carrying the ball in this game. You talk about Trey Hall, got a lot of carries in the first quarter. We've also seen Carl Gaddis, we've seen Levon Mickens, as that will be a 1st down for Brownsville. But you talk about those players as well as Jimmy Stoken. One thing they're doing, I think, doing a good job of really rotating those running backs in, really keeping them fresh as this game goes on.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages that Brownsville have is they have 3 guys that can run the ball and run the ball well. Keeps the other 2 fresh, like you said. When you get down to the 3rd and 4th quarter, they're able to use all 3 in the same fashion they used them in the first quarter.
It's going to be Hall in motion, going to get the toss play. As a hole up the middle, it gets waylaid of her hub to hold on to that ball. You take a look, looks like number 33 able to get first contact there for South Allegheny, but Brownsville done a great job in this game falling forward, ends up getting 3 yards there.
Yeah, he just got nailed there after about 2 yards out of the line of scrimmage. Great job by Hall to be able to hold on to that ball. Got absolutely plastered by 33 there. I'm not sure who that is on your roster.
Brings up second
and that will bring up a 2nd and 7. 1:15 left to play here in the third quarter of this tie ball game. Thank everyone for joining us. Brownsville threatening to score in South Allegheny territory once again. It's going to be a keeper. It's going to be DeCarlo up the middle, and he's going to get hit hard.
Good for a couple yards.
Once again, he's going to get a gain of about 3, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 4 for the Falcons.
And I talked to Brownsville coach Vaughn Braddock here before the game, and I asked him if there was one player on this team to watch out for, and he said no. We play as one, and we've seen this a lot during this game, that they've been working together and getting their blocks, and they've been really – there hasn't been one player that stand out. There's a lot of guys doing really good in this game.
And you take a look at this Brownsville team facing a 3rd and 4, 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Under center once again is DeCarlo. Going to hand this ball off to Stogan. He's going to be a keeper, actually. Nice little option play. He's got it to the outside. That'll be a 1st down for Brownsville. Nice job there by Brandon DeCarlo, able to get that 1st down. And Alex, you know, you talked about kind of playing as one. I think part of that, this team really has done a nice job. They've had some adversity in this game. They haven't gotten down on themselves.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job here on the play action. As we see there, I was fooled at first sight as we see it here in the replay. Great job by DeCarlo. He's able to really get to the outside and use his speed, use his blockers. And they have played as one. They've played as one unit. They almost look like a machine almost. They've been, this second half, been excellent in the offensive line, excellent on the defensive line for the most part. Very solid overall team, something we haven't always seen from this Brownsville football program.
1 second left, and Brownsville is not going to get that play off. Looks like they're going to try to sneak a quick one in there on South Allegheny. However, took a little bit too much time, and that will end the third quarter of play. 12 minutes will decide the victor in this matchup. The fourth quarter be coming up next. And Alex, you talk about 7-7. It's going to be an interesting matchup as we come back. I'll get your thoughts on the fourth quarter as we come back from this commercial. You're watching high school football right here on CUTV.
Not able to catch the Vulcan game this past week? Missed the latest edition of News Center? No problem. All CUTV broadcasts are now available for mail order. Whether you want CalU athletics, local high school football, CUTV News Center, or other great CUTV programming, wouldn't you like to see that? It is now all available. Pick up an order form from the CUTV truck at any local sporting event, or send your check for $16.95 made payable to SAI to the address shown on the screen.
Brownsville threatening in the red zone of South Allegheny as we start this fourth quarter of play here at Redstone Field. My name is Andy Walter, joining me in Alex Conkle, and I'm going to try to talk to you before the break. Maybe we'll get to it after this play because now they're going to try to hurry up and get back to the line just so you and I can't have a little discussion about what this fourth quarter is going to have in store for us. But take a look. Brownsville with a it says first and 10, but the markers are at the 20 and the 10, so 1st and 5?
I will admit, I did not see any late flags unless there was a late encroachment penalty right before the half on South Allegheny. Either that or it was a substitution violation. There's.
Yeah, it looks like the chain guys are starting to work their way down the field now.
There's a whole little discombobulation right now about where they're at.
The chain gang and the officials have a word. The scoreboard says 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line, and that's the way it's going to be as we finally get things situated. But Alex, going back this fourth quarter, Brownsville really has controlled a lot of this game. Do you think we're going to see more of the same in the fourth quarter?
I think we will see more of the same because Brownsville has really been able to build off the big plays that they've been able to make. And some of the plays that we see as big weren't actually that big. For example, the punt in the third quarter that put South Allegheny at the 15 turned out to be huge for them.
It's going to be a toss play. This is going to be Mickens with the ball, trying to go near side of the field. Flag on the play. This one could be coming back. Mickens still fighting at the 5, down inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Ball is loose on the ground.
Fumble and a
We'll
flag
have to wait and see who comes up with this one. If it's Brownsville, you may see this play come back, but if South Allegheny gets it, they could have averted danger, and it looks like Brownsville will hold on to this ball.
Judging by the spot, it's probably a holding call or something of the
holding
sort.
penalty against the Falcons.
And it looks like it will be a holding penalty against Brownsville. See if you can see what happened here. It looks like maybe right around there somewhere. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell on the replay.
Might have seen it a little bit earlier before that, right on the left side of your screen. Couldn't see the actual hold, but I kind of saw a reaction of what might have been after a hold.
So that will back it up. It's going to now be a 1st and 20 at the 25-yard line for Brownsville. That big run there by Mickens ends up being erased. 25 yards to the end zone, 20 yards for a first down for the Falcons.
And that's really kind of a dagger for this Brownsville team, as they've really been able to run the ball, run with authority, and get the first down. Now they're going to have to work a heck of a lot harder to get this first down.
DeCarlo rolls out looking to throw it across the middle. He's got a man open, and that will be caught for a Falcon touchdown. Brandon Franks, a great route run for the touchdown. 11:34 left in this game, and Brownsville takes the 13-7 lead.
An excellent job there by the Brownsville offensive line, and he gave DeCarlo time, as we're going to see here in the replay. Nice play action, nice blocking there by Stoken. A big block, and Franks is in the open. I saw him break out in the open at about the 10-yard line, took a slant route right into the end zone, and there was no doubt that he was catching that ball.
Yeah, and you take a look at that secondary, you can tell they're a couple steps behind. They stepped up when they saw Stoken get that little play fake. They stepped up, thought they're going to come in on run support. That really allowed Franks to get in there.
And they have to be a little bit honest, too, because 9 out of 10 times that play has gone to Stoken.
The extra point is good. Brownsville takes a 14-7 lead. We'll see if South Allegheny can answer on the other side of this commercial break. You're watching high school football on CUTV.
Tune in to CUTV Sports as the Vulcans try to make it back to the NCAA playoffs. At home or on the road, CUTV is your home for the best in Vulcan sports coverage. You are watching CUTV, California University Television.
A 25-yard touchdown reception from Brandon Franks, courtesy of Brandon DeCarlo, gives Brownsville a 14-7 lead. 11:34 left to play here in this matchup. South Allegheny looking to see if they can answer off this kickoff.
And Brownsville did a really good job facing adversary, facing the problem there after that 10-yard holding penalty. Be able to come back and put this one in the house, and this could be something they build off of now.
Another little knuckle is going to be taken about the 12-yard line. That will be Veal on the return. He had a big one earlier. He's able to make a couple of guys miss, gets up across the 30. Will be taken down at the 35. So once again, South Allegheny has some decent field position to start off this drive.
If there's one thing really that you've got to knock on Brownsville for, it's been their kickoff return coverage, and that's the only thing that's plagued them in this game. As we saw a big return by Veal earlier in this game. And now this one back to the 35. This time I'm thinking Brownsville's got to be thinking stop, stop, and stop. If they can stop them here, it could be game over.
And you take a look from South Allegheny's point of view, they did a nice job running the ball early in that third quarter. You got a lot of time left on the clock. Don't be surprised to see some more of it. Out of the I formation, this ball going to be handoff up the middle. That is the fullback, Tyler Wagner, running with a purpose, able to get 4.5. They're going to give him 5 yards, and there will be a flag coming in after play. Looks like it may have been Brandon Franks for Brownsville with a little extracurricular activity, and if that's the case, it's a big 15 yards to the end of that run.
And that's just an unnecessary penalty if you're Brownsville, because that was very late. We may see it on the replay after the call.
Dead ball.
And we'll see it here on the replay. Let's see if we have it. But it was very late, and you may see it. It was just on the right side of your screen.
Right there, you saw player coming in flying.
5. I'm not sure who that is.
I have Wes Watson on my roster, but
Watson
number subject to change.
Watson was just drilled by Franks, and that's something that Coach Von Braddock's going to be fuming about right now. That's not something you do.
And that puts South Allegheny in Falcon territory at the 45-yard line. First 10, little fake throw across the middle. That will be complete to Mike Cleary. Cleary makes one man miss, able to shake off another defender. Gets down inside the 25, going to be down at about the 23-yard line. And just like that, South Allegheny is right on the doorstep.
South Allegheny's really showing a good pass offense here. Cleary made one guy miss, as you saw in the replay. Took 2 guys to bring him down. And it's another case of South Allegheny's offensive line being able to hold off the Brownsville pass rush, giving Fox time to put off a good pass.
And you look, much like that first touchdown drive, South Allegheny getting a lot of big plays, not taking a whole lot of time off the clock as we're under 11 minutes here in this fourth quarter. Out of the out formation, ball going to be hand off. It's Veal up the middle, got a whole lot of running room, ends up falling on that wet grass. Still able to get a big gain. It looks like he's going to get another first down. Looks like it's going to be first 10 at about the 12-yard line here for the Gladiators.
And I think that penalty really deflated Brownsville in a sense,
first down for
as
Gladiators.
these past 2 plays have been big gains, about 18 on the pass and another 11 here. And South Allegheny has had no problem, Andy, marching down the field from their own 35 now to the red zone inside about the 12-yard line.
I mean, you think about that. Right now, they've marched about 50 yards, 52 yards, I believe, right around. A period of about a minute and a half. A lot of that in terms of that penalty, but South Allegheny really get this offense clicking. I-formation handoff up the middle. That's going to be Wagner, still fighting for yardage. Gets down around the 6. Looks like they're going to mark him down at the 5-yard line. And that's going to set up a 2nd and 2. Really, I mean, right up against the back of Brownsville's end zone.
Yeah, not again, another hard-nosed run there by Wagner. He's just fighting for yards. As we see in the replay, it takes a couple of Brownsville guys to bring him down. And if you're Brownsville, this is not the drive you want. Not at all.
We're going to have an official timeout here. Looks like we have an equipment issue in the South Allegheny huddle. Looks like we have a problem with a helmet.
And this seems to be the longest drive that's been sustained through this entire game, because the majority of the scoring drives and big drives have come when they've started in opponent territory.
Yeah, and you think about some of the longer drives that haven't gone for touchdowns because of turnovers. Really, I think that's a good point, Alex. This is one of the more sustained drives we've seen from either of these teams in this game.
And it's probably one of the shortest, too. As you said, it's only taken about a minute and a half, 2 minutes off the clock.
I-formation. It's going to be a little counter trap handoff to Campanese, able to get inside the 5, fighting down around the 3-yard line before he's met by a swarm of Falcons, and this is going to be close. Looks like he is not going to make the first down. We're going to have to wait and see on the spot, but it looks like it's going to be 3rd and 1.
You're going to see here another, does a little spin move there to evade one guy. Then he just gets met by about 3 Falcons at about the 3-yard line. And it's going to be a 3rd and a long one, actually. A generous spot for Brownsville.
And we'll see what South Allegheny chooses to do here from this 3rd and 1. We've seen them come out in that I-formation for basically the entire game. They do it once again. The deep back is Dean Veal, the senior. Under center, Dylan Fox, the freshman. So it's going to be a little keeper. You see the fullback pushing him right in the back. Tyler Wagner trying to help force his player to that first down.
I believe Fox
looks like he got down to about the 1-yard line. That will be a 1st and goal for the Gladiators.
And that was a great job by the fullback here. As you're going to see, he gives him a big push. I believe that was Wagner. He gave him a big push to allow Fox to get his momentum to get the first down.
So it will be a 1st and goal from the 1-yard line.
And sorry, Andy. That's those little plays, those little things that you want to see out of your team, those things that don't show up in the score sheet, but the things that help your team win. And that's something any coach will look for, is those little things, those little tiny things. You may not see them on camera. You may not see them at all, but they help your team win.
Full house backfield going to be half to the outside. Nice little move there by Nick Campanese. Able to make a man miss, get into the end zone, and just like that, the Gladiators are a point away from tying this game up.
Great run there by Campanese. Breaking to the outside. We'll see here on the replay. Just goes to the outside, makes one guy miss, and there's no one left to stop him. And we're an extra point away from being tied once again.
When you take a look at that replay, you talk about the two upbacks there in that three-back system. They did a great job picking up some blockers, really give Campanese a lot of room to get to the outside.
And South Allegheny has done a really, really good job in blocking and protecting their offensive line.
Kick is up.
South Allegheny had a play running onto the field, but the extra point will be good. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But as it stands right now, we have a tie game, 14-14. Brownsville going to try to go back on offense after this commercial break.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
.8:28 left in the fourth quarter of this deadlock matchup. South Allegheny and Brownsville tied at 14. South Allegheny getting that touchdown off the Nick Campanese run. Brownsville looking to see if they can't answer on this offensive possession coming up. I'm Andy Walter. Joining me is Alex Kunkel. And Alex, really it was a stalemate. A lot of offense, but not a whole lot of scoring. Pretty much the exact opposite here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we've seen 3 scoring drives in this third and fourth quarter alone. The whole first half we saw only 1. And a lot different scheme from both teams, but Brownsville has tried to stay as consistent as they possibly could.
When we take him by the up man, that's Mickens at about the 21-yard line, able to find a little seam up the middle, and he is off to the races at the 40, able to be caught down by behind. Nice job there by Mickens, gets up to around the 45-yard line on Brownsville. Once again, I've been saying it time and time again tonight, great field position to start off the drive.
Yeah, and that's something Brownsville, you want some good field position. You want a nice kickoff return to try and jumpstart this team after that scoring drive where you kind of looked a little lost on some of the plays, allowing a couple big plays of 18 yards, 11 yards, 9 yards, couple big passing plays, which really deflated your offense, not to mention that 15-yard penalty, which turned out to be really huge.
So it will be Brownsville going to have trips to the right side, one back in the backfield. That's Mickens. DeCarlo understanding going to be a little toss play. Look for the trick here. It's like it's going to be a little bit of a quarterback throw. He's got a player downfield, just overthrows him. Brandon Franks cannot quite run into that ball. And I'll tell you what, Alex, LaVon Mickens, the running back, showing a pretty good arm there.
That was, I did not expect that kind of a cannon to come out. That was shot out of his arm, as we'll see here on the replay. Just bombed and over Brandon Frank's head by a couple of steps. Something you usually don't see out of a running back, especially when it's 25 yards downfield, Andy.
Yeah, and I like that play call because you take a look at what the quarterback DeCarlo did. After he got rid of that ball, he dropped back almost like it's going to be a little throwback to him and then a pass downfield. Really kept the South Allegheny team thinking. Didn't really know what was going to happen. This handoff up the middle, that is Stoken. He's going to fall forward for 2 yards. That's going to set up a 3rd and 8 for Brownsville, a pivotal 3rd and 8. The clock is rolling, 8 minutes left in regulation.
And it's another 3rd and long situation for Brownsville, something that we've said earlier they haven't really been forced to deal with many times in this game. They've been fairly successful on 3rd downs, Andy, but this is something at this point in the game you really want to convert this 3rd down and get a couple extra yards.
Brownsville comes out. Looks like they're coming out in that wing formation that we've seen so much in this game. DeCarlo under center. Stoken will be the fullback in the backfield. It's going to be Mickens in center coming to the near side. Going to be a pass to DeCarlo. Rose out looking for the screen. Able to throw one to Stoken. Stoken going to be hit and knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. And that will leave him short by about 3 yards of that 1st down. And now 7:25 left in this game. Alex, do you go for it?
You know what? I don't know that you do, because at this point you get a good punt off. You're putting South Allegheny back in their own zone at about the 10-15 yard line.
4th down and 3.
And we've seen that it's been tough for them to sustain a large drive on their own. The last drive was large, but it was mainly influenced by that penalty. They have not been able to sustain a long drive on their own. We're going to see a punt here.
We're going to have a flag as soon as ball is snapped. We're going to have a punt. It's going to be taken. There's going to be a flag on the return, and he's going to say down by contact. So there are two sets of laundry on the field. You have to wait and see. You'd expect one at the line of scrimmage where it was thrown to be an offside. Now we're going to have to wait and see what the flag in the other end is.
The other end, I may think it's either a face mask or a fair catch violation. Again, I did not see it.
You'll have to wait and see what is going on here. Now, penalties, there weren't a whole lot in this game, but when there have been penalties, they've been pivotal in helping teams out on their drives.
Yeah, especially the last drive for South Allegheny, that 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty. Really self-explanatory, unnecessary roughness. It was a late shove. So we're going to see right here what these penalties are all about.
And take a look. Looks like, well, there's not a whole lot of movement going on here. Just going to see, it looks like, well, we're still trying to get things settled here. Going to have legal motion against Brownsville. We're going to have offsetting penalties once again. So now we're at that point where the second time we've seen a punt have to be reset. First time Brownsville receiving, this time South Allegheny receiving. So you've got to think South Allegheny's got to have a little bit of an advantage here.
And if you're Brownsville at this point, maybe not rule out a fake punt attempt. We haven't seen anything from Brownsville. We saw one attempt at it by South Allegheny, but it was called back to a false start. But at this point, you've got to at least put it in the back of your mind and say, at this point, why not give it a shot? Because South Allegheny's been really honest with their
another flag on the play.
Punt coverage, and we're going to get another flag here.
It looks like Brownsville's clapping. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But it was thrown by the secondary, and there may have been too many men on the field, and there's another pivotal penalty, because that's going to give Brownsville a fresh first down if that is the call, and it is. Move those chains. The Falcons are once again in South Allegheny's side of the field. They get a fresh set of downs out of it.
And that was these last two penalties, three penalties actually, were huge. The first penalty got Brownsville a second chance to get another punt off, and then they try to go second punt, and you get South Allegheny's a little bit confused, a little bit miscommunication, and Brownsville gets a first set of downs, and let's see if they can take advantage.
Boy, 7:17 left in the fourth quarter, and you see there for Brownsville, nice job of that player firing out. However, before the ball was snapped, it looks like it could be an offensive penalty against Adam Carney, and it will be, and just like that, it'll move the ball back 5 yards. The only difference being get to keep the first down. It's only 1st and 15 now.
Yeah, and that's something that really Brownsville, you don't want. You just got a fresh set of downs. You just got a momentum swing in a sense, and then this happens. But their last big first down that they had to deal with, the 1st and 20, they were able to do a pass right down the middle to Brandon Franks. He was able to put this team back up at the time. So we'll see what happens here, Andy. Anything could happen.
You see DeCarlo just trying to make sure everything's set up here, waiting for the clock to start running, and play clock start running, and it is now. DeCarlo gets under center. It's going to be Mickens in motion. Little handoff up the middle, little counter trap play. That's going to be Hall. Ball is on the floor, and it will be recovered by South Allegheny. And just like that, the tides have turned once again in this matchup. Trey Hall cannot hold on to the ball. South Allegheny catches yet another break.
And that's just really unfortunate for Brownsville. We're going to see here on the replay, he just got his feet moving, and I can't tell who that was that wrapped him up. Thinking maybe it was 21. If it's 62, then it was our big player to watch.
Mark Stazak.
Mark Stazak knocked that ball loose, and this is real good field position for South Allegheny.
Yeah, they're going to be setting up at the 42-yard line. 1st and 10, 7:11 left in regulation. This game once again tied. You see South Allegheny coming out in the I formation. Under center is Fox. Be a little misdirection play. Looks like Fox didn't really know where the play was going. It's going to be handed off. Campanese trying to find somewhere to go, ends up getting wrapped and taken down. You take a look, see South Allegheny players not real sure what's going on in that play. Looks like a broken play. Looks like it's going to be no gain.
I agree. That definitely looked like a broken play. Fox did a double take. If we see it on the replay here, he did a double take before he tossed it, and we're not going to get a replay here, unfortunately. But South Allegheny has had a hard time, like I've said, putting a drive together on their own. They've always had help from a penalty here or a penalty there. And we saw a drive earlier in the game. South Allegheny started at their own 49, 3 and out.
South Allegheny, the I formation, ball going to be handed off. Campanese trying to find somewhere to go, able to make a couple guys miss. Nice little deke and duck there. They'll fight back to about the 47-yard line, and that's going to set up a third and 5 here for the Gladiators.
And that's at least a respectable third down if you're the Gladiators. We'll see it here on the replay. It's going to be Campanese going to the outside. He makes a couple guys miss. You'll see 1, 2 right there. Then you'll see number 77 come in and number 50 able to make him bring that down. I'm sorry, number 10 and number 50 able to bring him down before getting anything further.
So it will be a third and a long 4. I'm going to call it 5. 5:38 left to play here in regulation. Twins to the left side. Fox going to run a little handoff once again. Campanese is able to spin off one guy, gets a little bit of room, and that will be a first down for the Gladiators. Nice job there by Nick Campanese. Get that first down, moving into Brownsville territory. Ball's going to be spotted at the 43.
And it was just that little spin move. We'll see here on the replay again. He goes up the middle, looks to have it wrapped up. Nope, he just keeps his feet moving, keeps that spin. And instead of a 4th and 4, it ends up being a 1st and 10 in Brownsville territory.
Yeah, that's a tough break there for the defender there for Brownsville. Looks like he had Campanese wrapped up. He broke down to exactly what he wanted to do. He put his head down and tried to lead with his head and his upper body. Campanese was able to spin out of it.
And that was a huge third down conversion if you're Brownsville, or South Allegheny, I'm sorry.
I formation, Campanese, another handoff, finds a hole up the middle, and he's going to keep rumbling. He's going to be down around the 39-yard line. That's where he needs to get to that first down. It's going to be another one of those plays where it depends on the spot to see if South Allegheny can keep those chains moving.
And another good run there. Just keeps his feet moving, just goes hard up the middle. Tackle there by number 32, J.J. Stoken.
So there's 4:58 left on the clock, and we're going to have a measurement once again. Boy, South Allegheny, they really came out of the gates well, I think, in the third quarter, Alex. Well, in the third quarter, going into this fourth quarter. Did a lot of good adjustments at halftime. Really, this offense has been kick-started.
Yeah, this second half, I've said it before, they look like an extremely... They're doing the same things, but they're doing them a lot better. They're able to get these bigger runs, help sustain drives. They're able to get into Brownsville territory and make the most of it. Not the 3 and out or the turnover drives that we saw in the first half.
It's going to see as we take a look at this. Going to stretch this one out. Looks like it's going to be a first down by about a blade of grass, it looks like. That's about the width we were talking about there. But once again, South Allegheny moves the chains, and the Gladiator faithful that have made the trip down here to Brownsville, very happy about that.
Yeah, and it was another good run by Campanese, and another good blocking by the offensive line as we're going to get, I believe it's a Brownsville timeout here.
Yeah, take a look at the upcoming schedule here for CUTV. We're doing high school football, our 22nd year of high school football coverage, as well as California Vulcan athletic events. And see it right there, the high school schedule. 2 weeks. We're going to have to take a week off next week, so we're traveling out to Westchester for Vulcan football. But see the 18th, we're going to Carmichael's. 25th out, we'll see the South Allegheny team once again battling Charleroi, the game that really could be very similar to the game we see today.
Yeah, and then after the South Allegheny Charleroi matchup, we will head to Connellsville for a quad A match between Penn Trafford and Connellsville. And then October 9th, Carmichael's at California. That will be a PCN tape delay message or game.
On channel 61
so there you have it. Upcoming season. If you're a fan of any of those teams, we'll see you there. But I mean, this game, Alex, really, I mean, hypothetically for you and I think coming to this game, we didn't think it was going to, we thought it was going to be a good game. We didn't know it was going to be a tie game with 5 minutes left to play.
Yeah, this definitely is a surprise to anyone. Like we said last year, the score was 21-7 South Allegheny. Brownsville's really come out looking like a whole different team this year. They've been able to do a lot of things better.
That handoff up the middle was to Tyler Wagner, the fullback, able to fall forward for about 2 yards. It's going to set up a 2nd and 8. And once again, nice job here. When you talk about South Allegheny, have done a great job running a lot of time off the clock this possession.
Yeah, they've done an excellent drive. They've put together a really excellent drive. They started at their own 42, but they've been able to use the run by camping easy. Just run it straight up, using a page out of Brownsville's book. Just keep running, keep the clock moving, take as much time as they can, maybe get a score. If not, just set Brownsville up for a lot of work to do.
Boy, right there, a big play by Brownsville. Campanese tries to run that one up the middle. Looks like Tyler Tobias able to make the play. Nice job there by the Brownsville defense. You see right there, Fox almost tripped over fullback. Able to get that ball off, but Brownsville all over it.
And Tobias, a nice tackle there, brought him back with him. If you're a tackler, that's what you want to do, is bring him back. Don't push him forward and get an extra yard or two on that. Good job by Brownsville here, and they're putting South Allegheny at a 3rd and a long 10.
Yeah. South Allegheny looking into the playbook, see what they can come up with here. Going to have a wide receiver to each side. Once again, it's going to be the freshman Dylan Fox under center for the Gladiators. I formation is going to be camping easy, dotting the I. It's going to be back to pass Fox. So this one is going to be a pass interference, and that was a pretty big call. Tell you what, Alex, that was pretty obvious. Henry Hamilton just grabbed him right in the back. Take a look. We're getting some word that this may be a tip.
The ball was definitely tipped. I definitely saw the ball be tipped. I do not remember who. We'll see who it was after the call, but I do recall the ball getting tipped, and this is big if you're South Allegheny.
Now we're going to have the meeting of the minds here for the officials, try to figure out what's going to happen. It is going to be pass interference will be the call. You see the Brownsville coaching staff trying to plead their case. So take a look. Ball thrown, and it is tipped right there. Oof.
Looks like Craig Novak, the senior, tipped that ball.
And that's just a tough call. Take a look at it again. I guess really the biggest question now is, when did the pass interference take place? Was it before the tip or after? That's the only thing I can really think of. Right there you can see it.
There you see the tip. You definitely see it change directions.
As the ball gets moved on the field, it'll be a new set of downs, and that's just a tough break. I mean, I was watching the receiver, wasn't really watching the flight of the ball. Saw Hamilton grab the back of the jersey, a pretty obvious call, but if you saw that deflection, it makes sense. But once again, another huge penalty moves this ball for South Allegheny. They're now in the red zone.
And the penalties, we've said this earlier, Andy, the penalties have not been numerous, but when they have, they've really affected the drives in this game.
Up the middle, it's going to be Wagner with the ball, and he's going to be stopped before making any progress. Looks like he's going to lose about half a yard.
Wagner, the ball.
It's going to be a 2nd and 10. There's 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in regulation.
And a swarm of Hornets, as I like to call them, from Brownsville, just black and yellow, just right into Wagner, the running back. Stopping him. It's going to be a 2nd and a long 10. It's just going to be a yard loss of maybe about quarter yard.
Clock keeps running. 2:48 left to play here in regulation. South Allegheny doing a nice job, really taking a lot of time. Try to set things up, as we're going to have some whistles blown. We're going to have an official timeout.
Something to note, though, it's another drive where it's a longer drive, but these longer drives have been helped by these penalties. Penalty-free drives we haven't seen gone very far, maybe 20, 25 yards, but when you add the penalty in here, it seems like especially South Allegheny, Andy, they've been able to really use that penalty to their advantage and drive down the field.
Going to have twins to the left side of the field, the far side as we see it here. Fumble on the snap, ball is loose and is on the ground. You have to wait and see, and it looks like South Allegheny may have been able to keep possession. That's just another tough break. Looks like the quarterback, the freshman Dylan Fox, just tried to get out of there before he had control of the ball.
Yeah, we'll see here on the replay, just a bad snap, and it just popped out from under him, and he's able to catch it and not let Brownsville get it. I believe that was 34. Tobias applying pressure. Good heads-up play there by Fox. You know, we'll see him later in the year, Andy, and, you know, we'll see if these turnovers, on South Allegheny's part at least, were just a matter of first-game jitters or what the problem was.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to see what this team looks like in a few weeks when they travel to Charleroi. Right now, they're really in a dogfight. 2:24 left to play in this game. The clock is running. It is a 3rd and 11 for the Gladiators. Going to be twins to the near side now, the right, as Fox sees it. I formation. Dotting the I is Campanese. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Campanese runs into a big offensive line flag on the play. Brownsville holds strong. It'll be a 4th down pending here, depending on what the flag is called for.
And we may see something to the effects of a face mask. It's an odd place for a flag. It came from the secondary, so it could be something as a hold. Could be a plethora of penalties here. We'll have to wait and see what the official referee calls it.
Yeah, and it looks like it is going to be a hold, and I think Brownsville's going to ask to move this ball back 10 yards, because right now you take a look from the 21-yard line, you got to figure it's going to be about a 38-yard field goal. Brownsville is going to take the yardage, move it back 10 yards. It's going to be a 3rd and 21.
We have a holding penalty against the
Gladiators. It will be a holding call against South Allegheny. So like you said, they'll move it back 10 yards. It'll be a 3rd and about a long 20 from the Brownsville 31.
There's the ball back
and these Brownsville guys, they're pumped up.
Yeah, you see a lot of people on the sideline as well as on the field trying to get these fans on their feet for this pivotal 3rd down play. So a lot of fans have piled into Redstone Field today for this matchup. Really, for Brownsville, I think the way we're looking at this is the game. Clock is running, 1:50 left here in regulation.
And I tell you what, this is the 3rd year we've been here. This is probably the most energetic I've seen this crowd in the past 3 years. It's hopping right now compared to some places.
Another counter trap, and Caponese is met in the backfield. Great play there defensively by LaVon Mickens. Able to get in the backfield and stuff him. It's going to be 4th and 23 from the 33-yard line, and now you almost have to punt if you're South Allegheny.
Well, you pretty much do have to punt. I mean, there's a chance you go for it. The field position you're in, it'll be tough.
You take a look, 1:15 left, and I think we're going to see South Allegheny play. They take as much time off the clock, maybe take the delay game penalty. Oh, as soon as I say that, they're going to take a timeout with 1:09 left in this matchup. 4th and half a mile here. With South Allegheny called a timeout on that play, maybe trying to decide what they want to do offensively. Alex, I think if I'm in this position, I'm going to punt. What are you going to do if you have offense in your hands?
I think if I'm South Allegheny and Pat Monroe at this point, I'm going to punt the ball. I'm going to have to agree with you and punt the ball, but it's a risk because the position you're in, there's a pretty good chance that the punt's going to go into the end zone unless you're able to get it precision perfect punt off that you're going to get it down at about the 4 or 5 yard line, and that would be optimum.
Yeah, but I mean, Alex, even if you think about it right now, say you throw a pass on 4th down incomplete, Brownsville gets the ball to 33. Even if you punt in the end zone, Brownsville's going to have to start to 20. That still makes them have to go 80 yards in just over a minute.
Yeah, and there was a 1:05, I believe it is, on the clock.
It's 5 or 9.
5 or 9, sure. One of the two.
We'll let you know when the next second ticks.
Needless to say, there's just over a minute left, which makes things really tough for Brownsville. But if they can get it to about the 10-15 yard line with 10 seconds left or so, that's the point where you try say, hey, let's go for a field goal. Why not? Let's win this game if you're Brownsville.
We're going to see the field goal kicker come out here. This is going to be a 49-yard field goal attempt for South Allegheny. Brownsville trying to scramble to get up to the line in time. Interesting turn of events. Snap is now. It's going to be a fake. Going to run to the far side of the field. He's got a little bit of room. Nice job there by Mickens. Sniffs it out. That'll be a turnover on downs. And just like that, Brownsville has 69 yards to go and 102 to get there for this game.
And when you saw them lining up for the field goal, I will be perfectly honest that you knew it was going to be some kind of a fake, because a 49-yard field goal. Sorry, I'm getting my words tangled up now. 49-yard field goal is awfully tough in high school. You don't see a lot of kickers be able to do that, especially at the AA level. So you had to figure something interesting was going on. But a great job by Brownsville to react and be able to say, hey, let's get this stopped. React in the fly, get him down, get yourself some good field position. You've got a minute and 2 left.
Going to have a new quarterback come in, much like the end of the first half. Henry Hamilton's going to come in under center, perhaps a better passing option. Then Brandon DiCarlo, maybe a better arm on him. First down from the 32 is going to be a little slant pass. This one gets batted down the other way. Nice job there by South Allegheny getting the hands up, making sure that ball does not get completed.
And it looked like he had Brandon Franks streaking there, as we'll see here on the replay. Looks like it was actually Trey Hall streaking on an out pattern, just right off the offensive line. Just a bad break for Brownsville there.
That'll set up a 2nd and 10 from the 32, so Brownsville right now 68 yards to the end zone. You know, figure probably a good 48 to 50 just to get in field goal range. So they're under center. We're going to have twins to the left, also a wide receiver to the right. Only one wing in, and that is Trey Hall. Under center it is Hamilton. Hamilton drives back to pass, rolling to the near side, has a little hole up the middle, going to try to take it, makes one man miss, shakes and bakes his way to a first down, still trying to get over the 40, over the 45 to the 46. 49 seconds left to play. Brownsville's going to take a timeout here. They should have one left.
And watch the block here by 21. You'll see coming up here, watch the block by 21 right there. Really helped him get to the 46-47. A lot better field position. Great run by Brownsville. And this is a drive that has potential.
Yeah, and once again, I saw number 21, Mickens. We've called his name a whole heck of a lot tonight. He answers once again on that great block as we have a timeout on the field. And once again, Alex, it's in one of those limbo states where we don't know if it's 49 or 45 seconds, but I think if you're Brownsville, you got to hope that it's 49 because those extra 4 seconds could be pivotal.
Yeah, and this drive, if we take what we've seen just from this game so far, we've seen that Vaughn Braddock, the new head coach here at Brownsville, has really put something into this program. And he's really injected a lot of energy, as we've seen a lot of energy come out of this Brownsville team. And they have a tough schedule coming up ahead of them in Jeanette, Charleroi, McGuffey. Got a tough schedule ahead of them. If they can hold tight, they could come out with a 3-6, 4-5 season. Something that maybe before this game nobody thought was possible.
Yeah, you go back to those storylines. Brownsville has been 1-8 and 4 of the last 5 seasons coming into this year. But you talked about first-year head coach Vaughn Braddock. He's really, I think, put a lot of heart into this team. So looks like we are ready to get back to action. Once again, under center is going to have 2 trips really, if you want to the left, to the right, far side of the field. One man being a wingback, going to be a rollout to the right side. Hamilton looking for somewhere to go, going to throw us one across the middle, and that is complete to the far sideline. Nice completion there. It looks like it may have been number 7, Marky Johnson, in on that completion, and just like that, Brownsville find themselves in South Allegheny territory. 42 seconds left.
This is tough, though, for Brownsville because you got to get out of bounds in a hurry, stop this clock, and you see right there, nice pass, catches it, holds on to it, and this is really a good drive for Brownsville. They've been able to pass the ball with authority. They've been able to use their legs with authority.
43-yard line.
Use everything in unison.
Brownsville going to try to hurry to the line as quickly as possible. The clock is now rolling, 41 seconds and counting. Down to the line, Hamilton going to get under center, just going to spike this ball. 38 or 36. I think it's 36.
Actually, I think it's 38.
Who knows?
It's tough.
Well, nonetheless, there's less than 40 seconds left to play. 2nd and 10. Nice job there by Brownsville. They got to the line as quickly as they could, spike that ball.
Yeah, great job by Brownsville there. Heads up, knowing it's going to be a South Allegheny timeout.
South Allegheny.
I think if you're South Allegheny right now, you want to just give the defense that extra little bit of a breather so they can try to calm down. Maybe get them focusing more on the pass. They've been focusing on the run for the first 45 minutes of this ball game. Now all of a sudden, see a new quarterback come in Henry Hamilton. A little bit better of an arm, I think. Then Brandon DiCarlo, you got to try to focus on the pass. Maybe get some more speed players in there to focus on that.
And if you're South Allegheny, it's perfectly reasonable that you're not ready for the pass. I mean, like you said, the first 45 minutes, it's been run from the wing tee, and all of a sudden you're seeing trips left and Hamilton's out gunning it. But at the same time, you got to be able to react in the fly and not allow these big passes and these big runs at this point in the game.
You take a look, just to reset things once again, 38 seconds left to play, 14-14. First half dominated by Brownsville. Also dominated much of the third quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, South Allegheny got the momentum, able to tie this game up at 7. Brownsville scores, South Allegheny answers. That's how we find our way at 14-14, and we are back to action here. Under center, Henry Hamilton Jr. getting a chance to show that arm off. 2nd and 10. Out of the motion is Mickens, and I think I saw someone flinch on the offensive line, and that's going to move this ball back 5 yards.
I think it'll be the left guard who flinched. Puts Brownsville back 5 more yards for a 2nd and 15. And
See it right there in the replay, Alex. Number 58, Jeremy Angelo, just rocks a little bit when he's down in the three-point stance. And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes sometimes.
So it'll now be 2nd and 15 from the 47-yard line. 38 seconds left to play in this matchup. Mickens goes in motion once again. Brownsville looks like they got away with the legal procedure there. Off on the run, a nice job there. The big fella, number 62, Mark Stazak, able to make that sack. 28-27. The clock keeps rolling. 25 seconds. Brownville's going to have to take a timeout. Clock keeps rolling. It's down to 22, and now it's finally gotten stopped. Brownsville's going to take the timeout here. If you take a look, nice job there. Stazak making a name for himself, breaking through that offensive line.
Yeah, great job by South Allegheny. If you're Brownsville, this is not something you wanted to see. This drive has just gone sour, as it's going to be 3rd and 24, 23. After starting off after a great pass there, set you up with a fresh set of downs at about the South Allegheny 42. Now all of a sudden you're back to your own 47.
And just a reset once again. Roll down to 22 seconds. And, you know, Alex, if you're Brownsville right now, what are you thinking about trying to do here offensively? Oh, no, getting a look, and I think they may have said Brownsville didn't take a timeout there. I'm not sure what the case was.
Originally, I saw the official. Actually, no, I'm not sure.
You know what?
I saw the official.
I believe Brownsville is out of timeouts now. Maybe that's what he was trying to convey to the audience. 22 seconds left. Trip to the right side. It's going to be a pitch play. It's going to be a pass. It's going to be Mickens rolling out, looking to throw. Bombs it downfield once again for Franks. Overthrows everybody. Campanese gets his hands on it. Cannot make the play. 19 seconds left. And it's going to be a 4th down for Brownsville.
We saw that nice arm again from Micken here in the replay. Nice bomb. He gets everything under this, and he just airs it out. And again, he overthrew his receiver, Franks, there. So we'll see just out of the hands there. I believe that's number 9, Campanese for South Allegheny. And looks like we're going to see the punt unit come on here for Brownsville.
Yeah, take a look. I think the reward just isn't quite worth the risk. If you're Brownsville, you end up giving this ball over. It's going to be, you know, short 50 yards, but now you get the punt. Remember, Brownsville, they've had a little bit of issues. Both these teams have with the long snap. We'll have to see if Noah Saxon can get this ball and punt it away for the Falcons.
If he can get this punt off, if you're Brownsville, I should say, you want to get this punt off cleanly and get them tucked as far back as you possibly can.
Punt is away, and it is a beauty. It's going to be taken at about the 22-yard line. Big hit there. Rocking number 7, Dion Veal, is number 30 for Brownsville.
Woo! Down by Marky Johnson.
If you've ever seen a big hit in high school football, this is it. As you're just going to watch, he just gets decked right there. Absolutely decked by number 30. I'm not sure who that is, but he got leveled. That's an NFL caliber hit right there.
Boy, that's just one of those big-time contacts that really, you know, I mean, you heard what it did to these fans. It really woke these fans up once again after that drive kind of stalled. It's going to set up 7 seconds left to play. South Allegheny is looking at about 76 to 77 yards to go to get in the end zone. So we'll see. It looks like they're just going to go to the kneel-down formation. You see the man deep. It's like South Allegheny is going to be happy just playing for overtime.
And this will be the first overtime game we see for CUTV in
what I say,
10
Gary,
years.
What I say today, Gary.
That's the end of regulation.
I said it. I said overtime, and that will do it for regulation. Your score, 14-14. On the other side of this commercial break, we're going to see what each offense has in the overtime possession right here on CUTV.
To you, Algebra 2, foreign languages, and finally, biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Brandon Jackson in the backfield. Favre going to drop back, hand it off to Jackson, dive play up the middle. He's pushing defenders past the first down marker.
Go right behind the center.
Do you guys ever
push
stop?
that defensive line.
Let's see if the Packers can push this one into the end zone.
Redstone Field could be the site of a overtime thriller here as South Allegheny and Brownsville are tied at 14. Everyone getting a little bit more bang for their buck here, some overtime football. And Alex, you take a look at the way that third and fourth quarter have gone. Who do you like in this overtime?
This is going to be an intense overtime. This is going to be a treat. You rarely see overtime in high school football. This is going to be a treat as third and fourth quarter were really back and forth. As a reminder, it was 7-0 Brownsville at the end of the first half. And then South Allegheny started getting their offense moving, started getting defense moving, and Brownsville had a shot in that final drive, but a couple of penalties and a sack really just killed them.
We'll have to wait and see what happens here as we get ready for overtime. You go back and you talk about fully back on our open, which seems like it was about a decade and a half ago. We talked about a player to watch for each team. For Brownsville, it was J.J. Stoken. He's really produced on the offensive end. I think we called his name a lot, really, on those dive plays. He's always getting positive yardage for this team.
Yeah, he's always been going right up the middle. He hasn't been flashy. Keep that in mind. He has not been flashy, but he's been able to go right up the middle, use his strength, fight for 4 or 5 yards each time, keep a solid handle on the ball. He's able to get Brownsville positive yards, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. And on the other side of the ball, Mark Stajek, I believe is who it was. He's been very excellent on defense.
Yeah, he has been. That's just been one of those names that it seems like every time there's been a big play or a big opportunity for Brownsville offensively, you hear number 62, Mark Stajek's name be called and stopping that play. Also, I think defensively for South Allegheny, I've got to look at number 66, Tom Vasilich's name. You may not have heard called a lot, but it seems like every time you see number 66 right around the ball.
Yeah, he's been really keeping both eyes open to the field. He knows where the play's at. He's been able to get to the play and make the play. And he's been an integral part of this defense, which really has done a good job at controlling Brownsville because they've had a lot of plays from that wing formation that have been able, Brownsville could have put up 28 points tonight, in all honesty, if not for some of the defensive plays.
And you talk about Brownsville, I selected 2 players from South Allegheny, so I'll look for another player here for Brownsville, and I think it's one of the names that we didn't call a lot in the second half, we called a lot in the first half, Trey Hall. He was a player who really used very well on that wing position, got a lot of carries in the first and second quarter. Second half, he's kind of faded away a little bit.
Yeah, he did fade away a little bit, but I think that's partially due to the fact that Brownsville was putting together these drives from J.J. Stoken and catches by Brandon Franks. And we saw early Trey Hall was able on toss plays to easily get to the outside, get 10, 15 yards in a couple of instances. There was one play where it was a little bit of a trigger happy by DiCarlo and he fumbled. But for the most part, he has been consistent as well in getting to the outside and getting those yardage.
You take a look, we're going to have the captains meet at midfield for another coin toss. For South Allegheny, the captains looks like they are Jordan Bills, Dante Scott, and Mark Stazak. For Brownsville, I saw Marky Johnson, as well as Tyler Tobias and Jimmy Stoken. South Allegheny, being the away team, should have the ability to call this coin toss. Start the 0-2 pivotal overtime process here at Redstone Field. And now you kind of hear warning fans. You know, you see South Allegheny do their chant when they're clapping. Brownsville responds with their chant, and it's a great, atmosphere. Something really, Brownsville supports their team great, but this kind of competitive atmosphere is something we haven't seen in the previous trips here at Redstone Field.
Yeah, this is something that's really, you don't see this a lot, but a lot of times high school fans travel with their team, and they really do a good job with it out here in Southwest Pennsylvania. Even if their team isn't that great, they still are able to travel with their team. And it's something that really just defines this area's atmosphere and what makes this whole atmosphere special.
We're going to take a look. Looks like South Allegheny actually won the toss. It looks like that means Brownsville is going to get the ball first. It looks like they're going to go towards the end zone to the right as we see it. which will be down by the Brownsville band. So I believe the way it works is much like college football, only it starts on the 20-yard line instead of the 25-yard line. Each offense gets a chance to put the ball in the end zone, get whatever points they can. And, right now I think if you're Brownsville, you lose the toss, but you try to get the band going in your direction on that end.
Yeah, I think if you're Brownsville, you want to strike early and get it in the end zone and make South Allegheny work for their touchdown. Because we've said it before, they haven't put together drives without a little bit of help. And it'll only be 20 yards, however. That's the kicker. It's 20 yards.
Looks like it's actually going to be 10 now as they're setting things up on the sideline. You see the marker at the 10-yard line, so our apologies there. As Brownsville will go on offense first, they're going to have, basically the way you look at it, 4 plays to try to get into the end zone. Then we will see the South Allegheny offense come up and try their best hand at getting into the end zone until we finally have this deadlock broken at some point in time. Who knows?
We go.
We could be here a while. I'm excited.
I personally have never seen a high school football game go into overtime in my life.
Really? This will be my second or third. I know there was one my senior year of high school I watched. I believe there was one when I was very young, but I can't remember it.
There's never been, I know in my history in Latrobe, there's never been an overtime game.
Wow.
So this is a new experience for me, folks, I will admit.
And now coming back in, it will be Brandon DiCarlo. He's going to go back under center. You figure better of a rushing option than Henry Hamilton. DiCarlo under center, wing formation. Hall going to be going off tackle. It's going to be an option play. It's going to be a nice little pitch at the last second. Hall trips over his own feet. Grass jumped up and grabbed him there. Only a 2-yard gain. It's going to be second and goal from the 8.
And I think that was a great play by Brownsville. If you see in the replay, a couple guys committed to Stoke in there, as you saw 2 guys tackle, and even our cameraman got pulled there. Late pitch to Trey Hall, able to get a couple good yards, and actually that's going to get him to about the 9-yard line, so a gain of only about 1.
Yeah, tough break there if you're Brownsville. Looked like Sharani is going to get closer to 2 yards, only 1, and you're at that point in the game where every yard is just going to matter so much more. As once again, Brownsville comes out in that wing formation. It's going to be Mickens in motion. Going to be a pitch to the far side of the field. Mickens finds a hole up the middle, able to drag a couple of defenders with him down inside the 6 to about the 5.5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal from there for the Falcons.
And I think bringing DiCarlo back in here, and another good run there, I will say, by, I believe that was Micken. But having DiCarlo in there really gives you a third option, because not only can he run the ball, he's been adept with the tosses and the handoffs and the fakes. He's been adept to all of that, and we really haven't seen Hamilton run with that offense in this game. Granted, he's probably more of a long-arm passing quarterback, but at the same time, so can Levon Mickens. He can air it out too.
We'll take a look. Once again, wing formation is going to be Hall in motion. DiCarlo going to go with an option. Keeper tries to cut it back to the weak side of the field. Gets a huge block, and he will find the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Falcons. Give a nod to number 4, Brandon Frakes. A huge seal block from the wide receiver position. Brownsville going for the 7-point lead.
And you got to give that touchdown to DiCarlo, but you better put a big asterisk next to that touchdown and give Frakes some help there, because if you watch here in the replay, he breaks to the outside and a great seal block there on the right side. And if you look, some extracurricular, that looks like number 9.
That would
Campanese.
be Campanese.
Really some extra little contact there at the end down by the grass. But
now,
if you're Brownsville, that's what you wanted.
Now this extra point becomes also critical, and there is a lot of movement. It's not going to matter. Kick on the way, and that is true. And just like that, it is 21-14. Now South Allegheny's offense will take the field, trying to answer in this matchup. We're going to stay right here. You see your score, 21-14. And Alex, it's a roller coaster. I mean, that's all you can really say about this game. Brownsville felt like for 3.5 quarters, they had this game in the bag. South Allegheny comes back strong, but now, just like that in overtime, we see Brownsville's offense really go to work.
Yeah, now we get to see their defense. We're going to take a look at this touchdown here again. A fake handoff to Stoke, and he goes the other way. And keep an eye on the right side of your screen. The big seal block there by Franks. And then there was nothing but free. And watch the end here. Watch number 9 right in the middle of your screen. Right there, a big push. Nonetheless, Brownsville 21-14. Now we get to see their defense go to work. See if they can hold them off for 4 downs and get themselves this critical first win of the year.
Boy, and that was just a great play. Looking at that replay, the offensive line did a great job. They really sold that play going to the right. I almost thought it was just a broken play. DeCarlo tried to go back to the left, but doesn't matter what kind of play it was supposed to be. It was a touchdown. Now South Allegheny comes back. Looks like they're going to go with the full house backfield, everyone to the line of scrimmage. Under center, once again, is the freshman, Dylan Fox. Fox going to hand this one off to the deep man. That's Campanese. He gets wrapped up in the back one. He will go down. Brownsville swarms. Looks like Tyler Tobias able to get in there, wrap him up around the waist for a whole swarm of Falcons make the play.
And that is another swarm of Hornets. I've called them a swarm of Hornets all night, and they are. They swarmed to the ball. There's Tobias in there. Looks like number 10. Couple guys in there, right in there, and that's going to put them the whole way back at about the 12, 13-yard line.
And it looks like we're having a little bit of a scuffle here in the stands.
Oh
boy,
this
we're having
is bad.
Punches thrown and everything else, and now it's getting the attention of some of the players. It's getting out of hand, and you see a couple players from South Allegheny trying to do something to get up there. Now we're going to have to stop it.
We have a flag on the play.
We have to stop the play on the field now.
There's
actually a flag
for South Allegheny, who was trying to get in there.
Boy, there's just everybody's getting pulled away now, trying to make everything happen. It looks like cooler heads have hopefully prevailed.
And Vale is still fired up on the sidelines there.
Well, it looks like we're ready to get back to action. Once again, full house under center. Fox going to roll out, going to try to pass. Gets hit by about 3 defenders. Ball in the air, and no one saw it. And that will be incomplete in the back of the end zone. Looks like the receiver, number 18, just happened to fall down. Mike Cleary. Other receiver didn't quite see it in time.
Third down and 12.
And that was good pass coverage overall by Brownsville. We saw them swarm in. I don't think we're going to get a replay on that because of all the action in the stands, but swarming to the pass rusher, swarming to the receiver, and we're going to get a timeout by South Allegheny here.
Yeah, and I think that's a good call there at this point in the game. I mean, if you're South Allegheny, you've got to dig deep into that playbook and try to find something that's going to try to get your team in the end zone.
And not only that, I think this timeout is good because you need to calm your guys down. We just saw that big fight there in the stands, and Vale trying to get involved. Still looks like he's a little hot on the sidelines. We're going to see a replay here. We're going to see a replay of the deciding touchdown right now. And it's that block by Brandon Franks.
That's just a great play. I mean, nice job there by DeCarlo. He even had me fooled. I thought he was going to be stopped in the backfield going to the right. He cut it back to the left, but to find some daylight, and that's all it takes, and that's all it's really taken in this entire game. It's that little bit of a hole gets Brownsville going. And
if we look at the schedules again for these both of these teams, it's big for both of these teams. I know we talked about it earlier, but South Allegheny, they face Waynesburg next, and from Waynesburg, they've got a tougher road ahead of them, so they really have to start this out here. And look at that, we're seeing a couple of guys go away.
So we see some of the guilty parties being let off the stands, but now got to focus on the field action here. 3rd and goal from the 12. Gonna have the I formation set up. Fox under center, motion going to the left side. Gonna have twins to the far side of the field now. Be a rollout play. Look like it's gonna be a quarterback keeper. Broken play. Brownsville all over it, and that will bring up the deciding 4th down in this game. It's gonna be 4th and 14 for the Gladiators.
Great defensive swarming. We're seeing here on the replay. Fox, quarterback's keeper all the way, but Brownsville sniffed it out, keeping them down. It's going to be 4th and goal from the 14. It all comes down to one play. And I tell you what, maybe the first overtime I've seen, but it's not the first football game I've seen somebody leaving cuffs.
Okay. Take a look. This is it if you're South Allegheny. This is the game, barring a penalty. Going to come out, one receiver to each side. Once again, going from that I formation, the deep back for South Allegheny is Campanese. Under center is Fox, going to roll out, looking for a little slant play over, throws it by a mile and a half. No flags on the field. And that will do it. Brownsville ups their record to 1 win, no loss. 21-14 is the final.
And Brownsville came out. They came out with energy. They came out with fire, and they were able to pull this victory off. And this is going to be big for their season. They're going to use this in a glorious way down the stretch.
Brownsville starts off on the right foot for South Allegheny. Heartbreaking overtime. 21-14 your final score. For Alex Kunkel and everyone here on the CUTV staff, I am Andy Walter, hoping you'll join us next time for high school football right here on CUTV.